a month with the Preferred Partner Plan. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Oh, it's the day before Thanksgiving. I'm so glad to be back here with all of you. I hope you're having a wonderful, biggest party day of the year. That's really what this is all about today. That's why we all came back to be at work together for a day.
Yeah, one day, and then we're going at 3 o'clock straight to partying and Guns N' Hoses.
Guns N' Hoses tonight. Are there still tickets available? That's got to be sold out, right?
I know that it was really close. As of this moment, I can't tell you.
Okay. Well, we'll get an update. Reach out to Trisha and see if there's any possibility for tickets we can promote throughout the course of this show. I should have asked this maybe off air, but maybe we can give some away.
You know what? That is a possibility. Yeah. I can ask that too.
Yeah, I would love to know. Guns N' Hoses is a storied tradition here in the St. Louis area, and we are so excited here at 97.1 FM Talk to be a key partner in making sure that all of St. Louis has the opportunity to acknowledge, to thank, and to celebrate our local police officers and firefighters. It's a really cool thing. So I was on a little vacation. We postponed our Disney trip with my family to the holiday season because we took a different vacation this summer. And I have to tell you, when I'm trying to re-inject myself back into the news cycle, albeit just for one day before Thanksgiving, and most of the news reports are leading with how to dress at the airport, I'm like, I guess things are fine, or status quo.
Yeah, I think so.
Status quo.
Well, it was a big Thanksgiving story that I don't even know if we covered because there was lots of actual political news going on.
What?
That Sean Duffy came out
yes.
and told everybody, you know what?
Stop being slobs at the airport.
Maybe
I was
you should
watching.
dress nicer.
I was catching up on all of this while I was wearing sweatpants on an airplane.
Yeah. So you felt attacked.
No, I felt pretty comfy.
Did you?
Actually, I was feeling pretty fine. Now, they were my nice sweatpants.
Oh, well, thank you.
And a hoodie from the destination that I went to this summer in Hawaii.
Okay.
And I had bathed that day.
Well, that's probably a positive.
It's definitely a positive. But we can't. Sean Duffy is really big on this, and I understand the direction he's going. The big story out of how you dress when you travel here as the holiday season is in full swing. He says that the way you dress affects the way you act and the way you behave. It's not just about looking nice or what I think we are way far away from a cultural shift of looking nice. I think we're trying I think that Sean Duffy is trying to encourage people to not look like slobs. We have to not look like slobs before we get to starting to look nice. You can't show up and fly on Southwest Airlines. I'm picking on them because that's where I fly. If you show up in a suit with a fedora hat on, everyone's going to be wondering what you're up to. You can't just show up at the airport fully dressed to the nines right now.
Yeah.
Like that without being super suspicious.
Right. You're not going to look at that guy and go, oh, I'm sure he's just going home to Akron for Thanksgiving.
Turkey.
They're going to be like, no, that guy is into international espionage.
Trying a little too hard to blend in
Yeah.
with what they hope is 10 years in the future.
I'm one of you, y'all.
It's funny watching all of the news coverage of this story. It's the biggest story.
Can't believe I got B boarding class. Stinks for us, huh?
I asked Brad last night what the three biggest news stories were. You said the seditious six. What else did you say?
The Russia-Ukraine
Yeah.
possible deal. And then it was also James Comey and Letitia James.
Okay, I want to weigh in on these as an outsider. Usually, I'm not an insider as in I know more than you do. I just trust and I pray to God for your benefit that I am reading it and researching it more than you do because it's too much to try to keep up with these things. Those three stories mean nothing to America today. To people who are trying to figure out how to make a turkey or which desserts they're going to make or Black Friday profile, what shop. Seditious Six, they don't care about those people. Now, I understand the importance of the discussion about the Seditious Six and why that is a worthy endeavor. But if I see talking heads, and this, again, I'm talking as somebody I'm not saying it's not important. I'm saying it's not important to voters. Can those two things be true at the same time?
Yes.
When I'm trying to dive headfirst back into the news cycle so that I can come here and be on top of whatever stories it is, and this requires a lot of reading and watching, but more so than usual, I have to do it from like a 360-degree approach. I have to watch a lot of other people talking about it. If I see the news break and I see the origin story, if you will, of any major news headline that's going on, and I know actually what happened, then I just formulate my own opinion on it. But if I'm trying to dive back in, I am at the mercy of the opinions of the people who are downstream from the actual origin story that clouds everything that I think about it. And so I become super critical of all of the opinions that are preceding the facts of a story. Now, what I understand is the Seditious Six. When did that video come out? I feel like it came out maybe right before I left for Florida.
Yeah, it would have been like Tuesday of last week.
Okay, so I was maybe half mentally checked out at that point. I'm like, ooh, this one's not going to be my problem. Here we are still apparently talking about it. But you've got, are they all senators?
No, I think it's 2 senators and 4 representatives.
Okay, all military.
Yeah,
Retired.
or former. Yeah.
Yes. And this is the thing. This is the game. I want you to, if you've been worked up about the Seditious Six, and I haven't listened to any of your guys' coverage, so if this goes against how you guys covered it, throw it back at me. I can handle it. Okay. Hey, there's Eric Schmidt on Fox News. Look at him go. The message in the Seditious Six video was to our military, do not obey illegal orders. Over and over and over again. Correct?
Yes.
That is 100% a political play. It's a smart political play by the Democrats because all they have to do is say, we didn't say don't obey orders. We said don't obey illegal orders. Now, they're not supposed to obey illegal orders. Greg Gutfeld yesterday, on one of the things that I was watching this, he explains this in the way only Greg Gutfeld can. But he doesn't dive into the immediate defense of his political position on a particular issue. He steps way back, 30,000-foot view, and he looks at why we're talking about this. Not what are we talking about, but why are we talking about it? And Gutfeld goes in hard on explaining how the sheer video saying don't follow illegal orders if you're in the military implies that there are illegal orders being given to people in the military. But there's no specificity at all about what illegal orders should not be followed. So the implication here is that the people in the United States military, the higher-ups or somebody who's higher up who is in a position to give orders is giving illegal orders, and you better not follow them. You have a constitutional duty to serve the Constitution of the United States and, all of the things that your important oath says, and we're here to stand by you. Make sure you don't follow those illegal. Well, then what illegal orders are we talking about? Nobody knows. There's no answer to that question. And then when people go to the Seditious Six, I was mad at this story as soon as I know that these people had a name.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's what did it, huh?
It pissed me off. Oh, the Seditious Six, because this is a political play by the Democrats. It's a very cheap, simple political play by the Democrats to just imply that there's impropriety, if not unlawfulness, in Donald Trump's commander-in-chief military, and he's out there ordering people to do illegal things. And you know why that makes me mad? Because now I'm going to have to go to Thanksgiving dinner, and I'm going to have to listen to my liberal family and friends bark at me because Donald Trump's out there giving illegal orders. And when I say, what illegal orders are they giving? They're going to say, oh, you know what illegal orders they're doing. And then they're going to say, ICE is out there detaining people while they're dropping their kids off from school. And I'm like, what does ICE have to do with the military? And they're like, and another thing. And then they go into a different story. The goalposts, they never stay in the same place. You're trying to kick a field goal and they're trying to hit a home run. And as soon as you bring the ball back from over the fence while they're trying to hit a home run, they're like, logo 3 and at the buzzer. And you're like, I don't know even what defense to play here. Should it be I don't know. You can't keep up with it. So it makes me mad because the Democrat Party puts together a well thought out marketing plan. It's a marketing plan. It's like an advertising campaign. That's what politics is. It's the same thing as trying to make sure that you buy the Christmas-shaped Reese's peanut butter cups instead of the pumpkin-shaped Reese's. You got to go out and buy more. It's the same thing, Ryan. Ryan.
Technically, it's not the exact same thing.
Did you say technically?
Well, technically, the texture is slightly different based on the holiday and the shape.
No, see, you've been sold. You've been had. You are a sucker. And the Democrats did this to other people. Probably not you, but maybe.
You used the correct example when you talked about Reese's because I don't notice it as much with Reese's as I do with Snickers, and I'll give you that.
Okay, thank you. My point is made. It's a marketing campaign, and so now you have to go to Thanksgiving meal, and you've got to talk about why you've got to try to defend the fact that President Trump isn't giving out illegal orders as the commander-in-chief, and they're not even talking about that anymore because they've moved on, and therefore you lose. That is, if you engage in the conversation. That's why it makes me mad that there's a name, because the Seditious Six is the Republican response to that, which they have to do. The Republicans have to respond, but when they respond, now we're fighting about fighting. Mm-hmm. And the actual issue that brought all of this up started by the Democrats who can't win on policy. They have to win on these playground tricks. It pisses me off. But I'm back from vacation for a day.
I'm really surprised that this story has lasted this long because you said it.
Yeah.
When we saw it, at least I saw it, I was leaving town literally. And I thought, well, that one won't be around by the time I get back. And it is.
Well, no, I'm ending it by 3 p.m.
Okay,
today. This is it. So
there's a deadline.
Hug tight. It's a non-story. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Are you nearing retirement and wondering if you're truly prepared? Sue Thomas here. And when it comes to retirement planning, keep in mind Financial and Tax Architects, FTA, has helped families all across St. Louis plan to retire with clarity and confidence. FTA specializes in creating tax-efficient retirement strategies, showing you how and when to claim Social Security, and building an income plan designed to last as long as you do. Now, they have a Retirement Planning 101 class. It is eye-opening. It's 2.5 hours. It's offered on campuses of colleges throughout the area. No cost or obligation, but you're going to learn how to avoid costly mistakes, reduce unnecessary taxes, and make your money work smarter in retirement. Call 314-888-5101 or visit fta-ria.com to reserve your seat today. Space fills quickly, so don't wait. Take that first step toward a more confident retirement.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Range. It's the Annie Fry Show.
Democrats kept the government shut down for 43 days. Flights were delayed, SNAP benefits ran dry, small business and housing loans were frozen, but one major component of life for American families went virtually unaffected: education. The federal Department of Education furloughed 90% of its staff. And what happened? Nothing. Schools stayed open. Students went to class. Teachers got paid. The shutdown proved our schools don't depend on Washington bureaucracy to function. If 90% of an agency supposedly governing education can disappear for weeks without disrupting education, do we really need it at all?
So there you have the Secretary of the Department of Education talking about the future of the Department of Education. And there are a lot of questions swirling around this, people advocating very much what the Trump administration wants to do: shut it down, get rid of it, give education back to the states. Or other people, especially teachers unions, freaking out about the possibility of what the Trump administration might do. Let's speak to our guest. Madi Biedermann joins us. She's the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Communications at the U.S. Department of Education. Madi, thank you for being with us today. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Annie, thank you so much for having me. Happy almost Thanksgiving.
That's exactly right. Big party day. We're not huge partiers here, but we like to think about other people having wild and crazy times on the eve of Thanksgiving. Talk to me a little bit about what the plan is, what the hope is. When we hear Secretary McMahon speaking about the potential shutdown of the Department of Education, how will the kids learn, Madi?
Yes. Well, President Trump campaigned and was elected to bring about transformative change to education in this country. And Annie, it's more important than ever. Our most recent national test scores show that only 30% of our nation's fourth and eighth grade students are proficient in reading. We are failing our students. So when the secretary talks about wanting to return education to the states and dismantle the Department of Education, what we're really talking about is getting the federal bureaucracy out of the way and ensuring that teachers and parents are empowered to make the education decisions that are best for their students. We are not seeing success at the federal level. The federal Department of Education has spent $3 trillion since it was created in 1980, and we have not seen any scores rise. We are adding red tape, and we are making it harder for states to innovate and do their job and see success in educating our students.
We're speaking with Deputy Assistant Secretary for Communications at the Department of Education, the U.S. Department of Education, Madi Biedermann with us. So you're talking about trillions of dollars. Where is all this money going? If the scores aren't increasing, the Democrats, when they're in charge, they say throw more money at education. That's a lot of money to throw at it. It's not improving. Where do these dollars from the taxpayers go?
That's such a great question. And, $3 trillion, you're right, and not any improvement in scores. And what we're talking about at the federal level by returning education to the states is trying to ensure that the federal dollars that are going to states, that they have more control and say over where that money is going. And we think that this is the right way to do this because the success stories that we are seeing in education are not at the federal level, they are at the state level. So we're seeing something called the Southern Surge, which is Mississippi, Louisiana, Tennessee, are seeing huge increases in their scores and their students in reading because they have to return to the science of reading and teaching phonics in the classroom. This is a really exciting thing. But again, this is not being done by the federal Department of Education. These are being done by innovative, thoughtful state reforms. And we want to make sure that states have the ability to do that and don't have to spend time worrying about the federal regulations and reporting requirements. We just want them to focus on the students.
Yeah, I'm worried about the understanding that our country might have of federalism if the test scores are so poor that they might not understand how the power is shifting back to the states. I mean, really, now I live in the state of Illinois. I live across the Mississippi River in Illinois, but I work in St. Louis. So I have a very blue state residence and a very red state place of work for myself. So I'm able to compare the different kinds of states' approach to basically everything. And I think that the closer you get education to the actual location of the taxpayer, the more accountability the education system is going to have to that taxpayer dollar. It's going to be easier to contact your state government than it is to contact your federal government. When states get more control, more access, but also more responsibility and more accountability, how do you see that, in the 50 test kitchens we have of different types of political representation in government? How do you see that playing out in the long haul with test scores for our children?
We see that being the only way to improve test scores for our children. You're exactly right. Holding your school board accountable, going to talk to your local representatives is far easier than somebody coming to the U.S. Department of Education where a bunch of bureaucrats sit and make rules. That is not where change is going to happen. It's in your local level. And, you as a parent and others are best positioned to advocate for their child in their classroom and what they are learning. And that is the best way to improve it. And that is why President Trump and Secretary McMahon are such devout believers in school choice and money following the students and expanding opportunity for students and parents to choose the education that works best for them.
So I hear, I'll tell you this too, I'm married to a public school teacher, and I hear a lot about the reforms that need to be made, the expectations that are put on teachers that are really kind of more of a managing up thing than an educating down thing. There's a lot of teacher union insertion into the process that protects the teachers at the expense of the children and their education. The funding that comes from the federal government, I hear a lot of teachers, union representatives talking about how special education, like we're not going to be able to address IEPs and different types of programs that are out there for kids who need a little extra attention. If the Department of Education goes away, those kids are going to be left behind. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I think there's a misnomer about what the Department of Education does and does not do, right? We do not educate one single child. We do not hire teachers. We do not decide on curriculum. That is all already done at the state and local level. What the federal government does is send additional money to support students with special needs or low-income schools that may need that additional funds that are not being met by the state and local level. Those funds are going to continue, and those funds actually predate the Department of Education. IDEA, which is the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, was actually signed 50 years ago on Saturday. It celebrates its 50-year anniversary. The department's only been around for 45. So those funds will continue, those supports will continue. But what President Trump and Secretary McMahon want to see is to return to a world pre the federal Department of Education, where states have more authority and say in how those dollars are being spent. And what's working in Illinois or in St. Louis may not work for students in Utah or California. There are very different needs of populations in those states. So we want to make sure that states have more authority and control to invest the dollars how they see fit.
Well, this all makes a ton of sense to me. We're speaking with Madi Biedermann, the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Communications at the U.S. Department of Education. But there is a huge opposition against this new plan, which when I hear Secretary McMahon talking about this, it ends, or at least the president for sure, it ends in the abolishment of the Department of Education. Why would the teachers' unions be so opposed to getting rid of this federal bureaucracy? If you're saying that, the resources and the services are still there, they'll just be in the hands of the states, not in the federal government. Why would teachers' unions be so threatened by that?
It's a great question, and I think it really has to do with power and control, right? The more authority that you feed to the federal government and put it all in one building, it makes it easier for them to just have one building that they have to go and lobby. And what we're trying to do in the Trump administration is break up the bureaucracy in D.C. and partner with other federal agencies who are better able to manage these programs, right? We want career and technical education programs. We know that can be better managed by labor because what the Department of Education is doing is not working. So we're partnering with Secretary Chavez DeRemer at the Department of Labor to make sure that these programs are better managed and overseen at the federal level so that we can see real results for students.
Well, Maddie, like I said, my husband is a public school teacher. He teaches middle school social studies, and I have 4 kids, and
that is a labor of love.
Yeah, somebody out there's learning about federalism. I have 4 children. My oldest is in high school, and then I have an 8th grader, a 4th grader, and a pre-kindergartner. And I send them all to Lutheran schools because I value the Christian education that is being provided them. We have great public school systems around us, but I want to prioritize that Christian education. I pay an enormous amount of money in property taxes in the state of Illinois. I don't have a fancy house. I have a decent, nice house, but I spend so much money that goes into the public education system. I get no value of that for the 4 students and desks that are left vacant because I send my kids to a parochial school where they're getting a very quality education in an accredited school. What is the Trump administration going to do for families like mine who are pining for the opportunity for our tax dollars to work for our children too in the mode of school choice?
Well, one, your kids are lucky to have you as somebody who's advocating for them and their best education. So that's awesome to hear and really exciting. In the president's One Big Beautiful Bill, it included the largest expansion of school choice at the federal level in history. So states, as long as they opt in, and I encourage all parents and others to advocate for the states to opt in, if you donate to a scholarship granting organization, you can get a full tax write-off at the federal level for those donations. So scholarship granting organizations can help sponsor students to attend these private schools and provide resources to these schools that their families may not be able to afford on their own. It's a great way to expand choice in every state, and we hope to see all 50 states opt in.
So if you're somebody like myself living in Madison County, Illinois, and your governor is J.B. Pritzker, who I did hear the president speak about at the turkey pardoning the other day, if it looks like, he may not opt in for that, he hasn't yet, what do folks like me need to do in order to encourage J.B. Pritzker? Is the pressure going to continue from the administration, from the Department of Education, from where to push Illinois residents to be able to benefit from the Big Beautiful Bill, just like those in Missouri?
Absolutely. I would say, elections matter and getting people excited about this opportunity of school choice and the opportunities it brings. But yes, the Trump administration will continue to try and support every American to make sure that all children have access to an awesome education.
Well, elections do matter. And if the governor of the state of Illinois doesn't want to approve something like this, we could just change our governor in 2026, which I encourage my fellow Illinois residents to consider greatly. We're glad to hear about the direction that Secretary McMahon is taking the Department of Education. We really appreciate you coming on here. It's a near and dear, we're parents on this show, and we really want to make sure that education doesn't get left by the wayside. So we appreciate your time, especially on the biggest party day of the year, Maddie. We're grateful to have this little party with you. Thanks for being with us.
It is my pleasure, and thank you so much for having me. And happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Lots to be grateful for this Thanksgiving season. The Deputy Assistant Secretary for Communications at the United States Department of Education, Madi Biedermann, working hard to, I guess, abolish her job.
It's interesting, isn't it? That was a lot of really good info about what the Department of Education does, where they're headed. That was a really good interview in general, I would say, if I were listening, which I was not.
Why can't you say that with a straight face? I haven't seen you in like a week.
It was good, I think. I mean, seemed like it.
He was going into a compliment, and he was like, "Gosh, I'm so uncomfortable. I gotta get off. Take the exit."
That's accurate.
That's it. Go watch back on the YouTube and watch him start to throw up in his mouth midway through that compliment. You know why you complimented me? It's not because I did well. It's because you won school choice.
Well, I also was informed.
Well, I was.
It was very informative. Also, good job, Maddie.
Okay. That's good to be back. This might be all I can do for the week.
I was.
Hey, we're going to take a break. Ryan's going to climb up a ladder, and we'll be right back. Don't go away.
I wanna find the key to the sky and never come back.
I talk about a lot of people who I've partnered with here on this radio show, but I want to talk specifically about Stewie right now and the feedback that I consistently get from people like you, the ones who've been listening to me talk about a bagel loan and explain that a bagel loan is called a bagel loan because it's a mortgage, that a bagel reminds you of a zero. You pay $0 in closing costs. You know the whole thing. But you guys have heard me talking about this for years now. You've heard me say that I have myself gone through a bagel loan twice to refinance my house, and I've got an amazing rate to show for it. but you haven't called 314-324-4440 yet. You've thought about it, but you're just not sure. Maybe it's not as good as Annie says. But you know what? I keep hearing from listeners exactly like you who have already taken up and made that phone call or sent that text message just to find out for themselves. How can the bagel loan work for me? This is your shot. Stewart's American Mortgage, 314-324-4440. Reach out to Stewie. You'll be so glad you did. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
With this season's drought and high temperatures, demand for new sprinkler system installs is at its peak. Even with a little rain in the forecast, now is the absolute best time to put a new system in place, setting you up for a healthier, greener lawn next year. Don't let your lawn go through another season looking the way it does today. Take control now, and you'll never have to worry about the damage heat and dry weather can cause again. Call 636-695-7800 or visit ProOutdoor.com to schedule your new system installation today.
Will you be talking politics at Thanksgiving? That's our YouTube live chat poll today. Yes, you bring it up. Yes, if it comes up, you will. Yeah, but we all agree about politics, or no, you're not going to talk about it. You abstain. Let us know. Those are the four options. It's today's YouTube live chat poll, and we will be talking about this topic and give you the results at the end of the show. It is 12:35. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. Built in the heartland, for the heartland. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. So you just mentioned the YouTube poll for today. Will you be talking politics at Thanksgiving festivities? It depends on how the show goes, but I'm thinking about taking calls on this.
Okay.
What about you?
Not really. The last few years we've traveled for Thanksgiving, so it hasn't been an issue because it's just me and my son.
Do you go to a red state or a blue state? Oh,
we go to red states.
Only.
Entirely, yeah. And we bring up politics there, just see how it goes.
Just out in the comfy cozy?
Out in the public square. Hear ye, hear ye. Donald Trump will be elected again.
If you went into the town square at any random place and said seditious 6, how many people would be like, oh, let's talk about that?
They would want to talk about it? Not many.
How many people would know what you were talking about? I would be thinking you were talking about something from the Revolutionary War.
Or something like from a heist movie. You know, something recent. It was Kaiser Soze.
I spent the most of the first segment talking about the seditious 6, and just while that turned into more of a commentary on specifically the story of the seditious 6, I just think it's interesting to remove myself from, you know, you're in the fast lane of traffic on the new stuff, and you're going and you're taking it in as you go, and you're consuming all the information, but you're 80 miles an hour down that highway. You get off the exit, you can get off the exit and fill your car back up and get back on. That's what I would call like maybe a extended weekend vacation. If you go longer than that, if you like get off of the highway and you're staying at a hotel and maybe you take in some of the sites and you get back on, it takes you a minute to get back into that go mode. And another part of this, probably an equal part of this, that it just annoys me is the infighting between conservative influencers. Nobody cares.
Man, I know.
Like it's the only thing that matters to the people in that bubble.
Yeah, and it's a small bubble.
But if you're on X,
you're affected by it
for the sake of consuming news headlines when they pop up. So X is the number one place that I go to read because it's an aggregate of lots of things. It's not one viewpoint. Now it's my aggregated consumption, but I follow people on the left and the right, more people on the right, but people on the left who I feel like would talk about issues from a perspective that I respect, even though it's a different perspective than mine. But you can you put your finger in the wind and you see like, okay, here's where the stories are. And then you can go into those stories and start formulating my own opinion. 30 to 40% of my feed is fighting over the heart and soul of probably America First and MAGA. And I'm like, this does not matter to most people. And those who are diving headfirst into that argument, I do think that it matters that it's happening. It's just not nearly as indicative of what's going to happen in the future as people within the bubble believe it to be. It's not insignificant, but it's not the most significant thing. And it's, if your financial future is rooted and based in influencing, which mine is to an extent. I would consider myself to be like an old-timey influencer. I'm on the radio. We get ratings on this show. If they're good, hooray. If they're bad, boo. And we move on. But I have to be... Influential is not the right word for what we do, because I look at what I do on this show, especially with the cast that we have here, with the three people who are a part of the Annie Fry Show, along with myself being Annie. Our job is to entertain you, because I don't think that you need to turn on 97.1 from noon to 3 to find out what you think today. You think for yourself. You don't need me to program in your brain the right things to think. You should not do that. I am wrong. I have opinions that are based on my own perspective. I might have some rash opinions on a specific topic because maybe it affected something in my personal life. Maybe I'm looking at it more as a mother than I am as a Republican or as a conservative, or maybe more as a Christian than I am as a constitutionalist. We all have our own biases, is that the right way to say it, that influence the way we think about things. So what I want to do here is I want to connect you with the stories that matter, and I would like to make you think, or give you the opportunity to think and hear my perspective on it. And then you get to decide where you are in proximity or distance to how I feel about something, Ryan, Brad, Ethan, how any of us talk about particular issues. There are a lot of people who are in the influencing business who think that you're not going to know what to do until they tell you how to think and what to do. And I do not. That is not at all. I don't want that responsibility, nor would I ever have the power or authority to program your brain to think a certain way. But take it off the public airwaves where we are and put it on the internet, and the up to the second measurement of how much you're moving a needle could become very determinative of how you proceed with what you do not just the next day, but the next minute.
Yeah.
I've talked to you guys about this before. We talked about this at the parade a little bit. I try to shoot videos of myself, and I'm like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. I'm not going to talk into I'm doing it right now. I'm literally to you people on the YouTube chat or the Facebook live stream or whatever. I know I'm talking into a camera, but we're having a conversation. I'm really doing the radio show and we're happening to video it. But the thought of putting up a phone in front of myself so that I can tell you guys something, like I get halfway through and I always say, I can't do this. And then I just delete and I go about my day because you don't need that. It's probably not the best for my job to be like, they don't need to hear from me. But I just can't imagine people who are like, well, Annie said that we need to care a lot about Senator Mark Kelly and the Seditious Six, and we need to be advocating for his removal or whatever. Like, this is not what's important to people. What's important to people going into this Thanksgiving holiday is that you get to spend time with people that you love, that you are blessed to be able to afford the food that you'd like to put on the table, to host the people that you love, or to sit next to the people who are hosting you, that you're grateful that you had an invitation to a table to enjoy that meal. That's just the things that matter. And I hope that the Trump administration gets this too. And I kind of think that they get this more than the influencer culture. I feel like the Trump administration that got elected to get the business of the people done is focused on issues on a much bigger picture than really benefits the influencer class. And I don't know what to do with it because social media, which is where I get a lot of my exposure to what's going on right now, is a lot of Trump people, a lot of former America First people are like, it's over. And I'm like, what are you freaking talking about? It's not over. It's not even close to being over. What are you talking about?
I want to add this into people who freak out. This moment in a presidency, almost exactly a year in past the election and past the most recent elections too, the ones that just come 1 year in, is usually the low point for any president because your side isn't rallying to you. You have no elections really close right now.
People are comfortable.
Everybody's just complacent. And it happened to Biden. It happened to Trump 1.0. It happened to Obama. I mean, it always happens at this point. So to try to predict the midterms right now, and actually Trump is more popular at this point than a lot of other presidents at this point. So and there's so much that can happen too. It's not just, historically, this is what it is. Between now and then, there's always something else that's going to affect that election. The last one was Roe versus Wade that affected the last midterm.
Yeah, and it was effective.
And so Biden was just as unpopular, I think more so unpopular at this point. And look at those midterms. They almost hung on.
The reason why this agitates me so much, I have such an irritable reaction to this moment in time, is because the thing about the left that I have zero respect for, and I'm talking about the people in the Democrat Party who are trying to move the needle for votes, that they only trade in emotion and immediate visceral reaction to whatever they can throw in front of you to try to react so quickly. I feel like the influencer class on the right now is trying to tap into that for the benefit of the influencer class.
I agree.
Not for you. And I'm like, I'm too tired for this. What are the Black Friday deals? Like, I'll get back into it Monday. Okay. Everybody just calm down. YouTube poll, will you be talking politics at Thanksgiving festivities? Let's read Joe's comment here. Walk into Thanksgiving, take your coat off, and ask, are you commies ready to share the harvest? I mean, that's one way to go about it. We'll be right back.
I don't even want to do this anymore.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. Let's support our first responders. Inter Responder Rescue's ATF raffle. Prizes include top shelf bourbon, a lit cigar lounge VIP night, and a CZ P10 pistol from the range. Text responder to 33100 to enter today.
Have you heard about the Dittmore Group? I certainly have, and I'm happy to be able to tell you about Tammy Dittmore and the amazing team that she has assembled to help you seamlessly move through your next real estate transaction. That could be buying, that could be selling, that could just be thinking about buying or thinking about selling. When you call 618-531-4652, that's 618-531-4652, the Dittmore Group is going to be ready to take that phone call listen to you where you are, and help you get to where you want to go. Whether it's a relocation here locally, if you're just looking to list your home, to sell it, to move on to the next place, or if you're looking to buy a home and you are currently in a place that maybe you're not looking to sell, they can help you with all of these different types of situations and make it a comfortable process to go through. And that's saying something. Real estate can be stressful. The Dittmore Group takes that on for you and makes it as seamless as possible. 618-531-4652. Call 618-531-4652, thedittmoregroup.com.
It's time now for today's Spotlight on Money.
A little bit of creativity could help you save big money on that big holiday party. Secret Santas, donation drives, ornament exchanges, and white elephant gifts are just some ways to avoid breaking the bank. Business writer Jennifer Waters says you should find an acceptable spending level and stick to it.
You really do have to create a budget, plan ahead, focus on some low cost or free activities.
I'm Rob Hart.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer, an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your online traffic. So this Black Friday, get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal with 73% off and enjoy 3 extra months.
Heidi Ricken Provost of Ricken Financial understands the importance of financial stability in your retirement plans.
If there's something we can do to help benefit your financial future and provide more strength and stability in your retirement plan, that's exactly what we do here. And we do so on a complimentary basis.
Call today, 314-207-6211 or online at rickenfinancial.com and join us for Kickin' with the Rickens, Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Wiggins! As you know, I'm always here to help, and these are ways that you can reduce your holiday stress, Annie.
It's kind of like assumptive.
Let's just assume that you are super stressed out over the holidays.
I'm feeling pretty good.
And you have to present yourself as stressed for this segment, please.
Okay.
Pretend. Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to help you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I was really worried.
First of all, you need to stop over-scheduling for tradition's sake. So these can apply to both Thanksgiving and Christmas.
You know, I have pretty chill holidays these days, but I bet you that I did all of these things like 10 years ago.
So you've taken this advice already. You were overscheduled. Now you're not.
We did one Christmas when Charlie was born. Well, I should say this. Charlie was born the day after Christmas. So Charlie is as old as you can be for your first Christmas, because Charlie's first Christmas, he was 364 days old. So,
okay.
But for his first Christmas, we were trying to go everywhere. He was the first grandchild on both sides of the family. So our world got rocked and changed dramatically. Everybody else was just kind of like still expecting to do things the way they always had been done. And that year, we tried to do all of the things. And it was a miserable Christmas for Jared and for me. And Charlie had
a pretty good time.
He wasn't even a year old.
He was opening presents.
Yeah, and eating the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Which he just stopped doing a couple years ago. We're pretty proud of him.
It stinks.
I think he's home today. I hope he heard that. But everything we did because we thought we had to do it that way. And after that, we're like, we're never doing that again. We're going to figure out what's best for our for our new family. Because it's weird when you add a kid and you're like, okay, now we have this family, and you have to make decisions based on what's best for your ability to do the things and enjoy the things. And so we said, this is what we can do. And if it didn't work out for other people, the sacrifice you have to make is that if it doesn't work for you, you cannot expect other people to change plans and schedule around you. So if things go on without you, you have to learn to be not necessarily okay, but content with it. But if a tradition continues to happen and you can't fulfill the tradition, you can't try to take it away from everybody else because you can't have it. That's the challenge. But it took us like maybe 1 year, and we're like, okay, we're comfy.
That's pretty much what this article said, including the story about Charlie.
Christmas morning? Yeah, paper eating, man, it was a problem. Sorry, Charlie. I think the most difficult thing to do for Christmas scheduling purposes is that you want to have Christmas morning yourself. And when the families, as it used to have Christmas morning, then you're like, now we're going to have our Christmas morning. I mean, I think we tried it. We did it the first year. We were like, we'll have Christmas morning ourselves. I think we started at 6 a.m.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because we had to have like morning. We had to have like 3 Christmas mornings or something. And we're like, no.
Our
not
kids
with a 1-year-old.
never got that benefit. From the time they could get out of bed, we were like, nope, Santa doesn't like it when you wake up before 9:30.
But if you've got to be 3 places.
Santa doesn't like it when you have to be at 3 places before 9:30. The next one is food pressure. Making dinner a members-only affair for people in the Clean Plate Club is a surefire recipe for alienating some loved ones.
What?
They're saying
that got overwritten, for the record.
Quote, some worry about breaking their diet during the holidays, and you may be challenged to find the balance between indulging and maintaining healthy eating habits around other people who you might want to please because you're trying to make sure that it doesn't look like you're not eating the food.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My grandma used to she used to be a little judgy about what you would or wouldn't eat.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. She'd make a big meal, and
she wants you to eat it.
She wants you to eat it.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving.
So you did.
Right. Unspoken money rules.
That's over too.
Money is a loaded topic. Finances can be at the root of family habits that make holiday stress much worse. Like putting limits on this or that, what you can or can't bring, what you can or can't buy. It seems like you do have to do some of that, but it's one of those things that can cause a little stress, according to Parade magazine. Role lock-in. Being locked into the same role that you've always played. So if you were always the fun-loving daughter and you're having a bad year this year,
be a witch.
You may be expected to play a part is the point of this. And then projecting perfectionism. So perfect gets thrown. Yeah? Did you clear your throat on purpose there? Like this is you or?
No, but it can be, holidays can be very performative. You can go to places where it's like the whole thing is kind of a show in a way. And if you ever get to peek behind the curtain, those people are super unhappy. It's like, why are you even doing this?
Yeah.
if it's not fully enjoyable for the person who's doing it. I've told this story before. I think it was last year or the Christmas before, we were making Christmas cookies, and we were making, I believe it was my grandma's ginger snaps. And Evelyn, who is the namesake of my grandma, and Evelyn was 4 when she passed away, so she remembers elements of her, but she remembers her cooking. She remembers her cookies. And we were making these. We're standing by the mixer, my oldest daughter and my second daughter, and we were making them, and she knew it was grandma's ginger snap recipe. And she goes, Mom, when we make these cookies, it's kind of like we're sharing grandma's love with everybody who comes to eat them. And I just looked at her like, that is exactly what we're doing. That's words to what we're doing. You do those things and you get nostalgic during the holiday season, and you talk about doing tradition for tradition's sake. Like the reason we make ginger snaps is because the taste, the experience, the smell of the cookies baking reminds you of grandma, and that love lives on in a recipe. And my then 7-year-old daughter articulated that. And it was devastating and heartwarming for me all at the same time. Those are the types of things that when you invest in them, you invest your time, you invest your effort, your money into it. You got to separate those things from I hope all the napkins match around so that such and such thinks I've got my act together. Screw that family member who's like there to judge whether you have your act together. Like,
Ooh.
I'd throw some loops in there just for the sake of be like, I'm kind of living on the edge. I might slip here. You don't know what's going to happen. I'd like to carve the turkey now.
Those baseboards look
Yeah.
a little dirty, but this food's good.
Have you ever gone into someone's house and looked at their baseboards?
I will now.
I do it all the time.
That's all I do.
No, I don't. You could not have baseboards, and I would not notice. When my husband and I moved,
We're going to test you on that.
When my husband and I moved in our house, our first house in Hamel, Illinois, we bought it from an estate. It took 3 months to make it livable. And there was a cat situation before we moved into it. We had to rip all the baseboards out of the house because they had been urinated on and there was no recovery. We did not have money for baseboards. We probably lived 2 or 3 years without baseboards in our house.
Ugh, that was probably a nasty Thanksgiving at your house, though, wasn't it?
We didn't have it at our house. We went elsewhere.
Good thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't overstretch yourself. Are there more?
There's a few more, yeah.
We might revisit. Stick around. YouTube poll. Will you be talking politics at Thanksgiving festivities? Go vote at the Annie Fry YouTube page. We'll be right back.
So I want to talk to you about HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. You've heard me talking about Matt Hayes. You've heard me talking about the various types of services that Home Shield offers folks when it comes to foundational repairs. There's a lot of things that are wrapped up in that. And if you go to their website at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com, you can peruse the different services they offer. But I want to speak specifically to those basements that are taking on moisture, and every time it happens, it's a gut punch. I mean, some of you have bailed out water from your basement before. The other folks out there right now know that water is getting in. Maybe there's a crack that's gotten a hairline crack that's gotten a little bit bigger. Or, God forbid, you're starting to see maybe some bowing in the actual walls of your basement, your foundation. Yikes. Get rid of that problem. Get rid of the pit in your stomach. Every time there's rain, even in the forecast, reach out to Home Shield Foundation Repair. Call Matt Hayes at 314-227-9636. 314-227-9636. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
It's the case that led to a Trump mugshot. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The election interference case in Georgia accusing the then former president and 14 others of trying to overturn 2020 results. It's now over. The original prosecutor, Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis, was eventually disqualified from the case, and the new prosecutor, Peter Skandalakis, who took over just this month, filed a motion to drop it, pointing in part to the president being back in office.
In his memo explaining the reasoning for his decision, Skandalakis wrote, severing President Trump from the remaining defendants and conducting separate trials while simultaneously waiting for the conclusion of his term and addressing all of the aforementioned legal issues would be both illogical and unduly burdensome and costly for the state and for Fulton County.
Fox's Christina Coleman, a Superior Court judge, has now dismissed the entire case. The lead defense counsel for the president says that case was a political persecution. Vice President J.D. Vance, the second lady, and their 3 young children are visiting U.S. troops, serving meals at Kentucky's Fort Campbell, which also straddles Tennessee. Some troops stationed there have been sent to Europe to support NATO and deter Russia. President Trump pushing a plan to end the war in Ukraine.
But the toughest issues remain unresolved. Territorial issues, frozen Russian assets, and future security guarantees for Ukraine, including NATO membership and/or Article 5 defense of Ukraine.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin. The president expects U.S. officials to hold more separate meetings with Russian and Ukrainian officials in the coming days. No word yet on what caused a horrific high-rise fire in Hong Kong, where the leader now reports at least 36 people dead, more than 200 others missing, hundreds more evacuated as that fire spread across 7 of the 8 buildings in an apartment complex. Officials saying earlier it appeared to have started on one building's external scaffolding. America is listening to Fox News.
If a Lenovo computer for your business is on your holiday list, don't shop around. Just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com. You'll find exclusive deals on the PCs you want for your business, like the ThinkPad X9 14 Aura Edition and Yoga 7i 2-in-1. So avoid all that shopping chaos and price comparing, and just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com, where PCs are up to 50% off. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
A fair amount of sunshine this afternoon, but it is windy and it is cold. 46 for the high, but it feels colder. Tonight, partly cloudy, keeping it cold. Lighter winds, 29. Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, plenty of sunshine, breezy and cold, 42. And Friday, partly sunny, 41. Unsettled weather late Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday with a mix of rain and sloppy wet snow. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If you need a new furnace, get Carrier Cool Cash rebates and 0% financing so you'll be nice and cozy as the weather turns. For a free estimate on a new heating system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ring.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, welcome back. It is Thanksgiving Eve. We hope that you are going to be one of the many people descending upon guns and hoses tonight. It's a big evening. I think there are a few tickets left available. If you are last-minute plans and you've got some free time tonight, I highly encourage you to check out Guns and Hoses. And really, really cool event, really great cause. So we're excited to be partners with that here at 97.1 FM Talk to honor our law enforcement, to honor our firefighters here locally. It's an incredible thing, and we're so grateful to be a part of it. The YouTube live chat poll for today: will you be talking politics at Thanksgiving festivities? You've got 4 options for today. Are they the best 4 options? I'm not so sure, but these are what they are. Are you going to be talking politics at Thanksgiving festivities? Yes, and you're the one who's going to be bringing it up, or yeah, you'll involve yourself if it comes up. Yeah, you'll be talking politics, but everybody at your Thanksgiving table is going to agree, or no, you completely abstain. Go vote on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll there, and you can leave comments if you want us to include your thoughts on the subject matter today. We're going to speak here in just a second with Deroy Murdock, and I'm excited to have him on here right before we get to our Thanksgiving weekend. Listen to Donald Trump here first on.
Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket. Of all the money that he's given to Democrats, he gave me none, 0, no money to me, but he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you now, I just got a little.
So that's President Trump from the Oval Office. This is a kind of an older clip from a week or so ago, but he's talking about Jeffrey Epstein, and this was a huge, huge story. Everybody was talking about Jeffrey Epstein for like a week or so, and it was all about, this is before the information was released, it was all about Donald Trump. The story wasn't about Jeffrey Epstein. For the people pushing this and demanding the Epstein files, whatever they are, to be released, it's like they didn't even really care about the Epstein victims. They just cared about Trump's proximity and how they could spin a story in order to try to, what is it called? Get Trump. And at this point, a little bit further down stream from the release of those files, as that has passed and the president has signed that, did they get their wish? Let's talk to our friend Deroy Murdock about it. He's a nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, and a Fox News contributor. Deroy, welcome back. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. It's always a pleasure to have you here with us.
Happy Thanksgiving Eve to you, Annie.
Thank you so much. The Epstein files that were the big issue about a week and a half ago or so. House passes, Senate passes, President Trump signs. Okay, fine, release them. Now we're going to have to wait and see for the redactions to come out when they finally do get released in a searchable database. Was this all a political move by the Democrats, or do you think there was some good served in this endeavor?
Well, I think Democrats and Republicans are wondering what's in those files. I think transparency is usually a good idea, and sunshine's the best disinfectant. So I'm happy to see them open. But the Democrats have been hyperventilating about this for months, saying, Jeffrey Epstein's a pedophile and Trump's his best friend, and they're running around elementary schools looking for dates, blah blah blah. This sort of concept, and I think that they were pushing for the files to be released, thinking that Trump would block them, Republicans would block them, and could use that as a cudgel against them. And guess what? The files have been coming out. There's a lot of stuff that was covered by grand jury secrecy requirements. You can't really get around that very easily. But there has been stuff that's come out already, and now I guess the whole, the avalanche is going to come forward in a couple of weeks once they've gone through and I guess protected the names of the innocent, et cetera. I did a piece for the Daily Signal. Headline is the Epstein files are clogged with Democrats. And I think what the Democrats are finding, careful what you wish for, they're finding all kinds of Democrat names in the Epstein files. And now they're having to explain things such as the fact that Epstein is a very big political donor. Between 1990 and 2018, he gave about $18,000 to Republicans. And guess what? He gave $182,000 to Democrats, 10-1. It's not close, not 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, 90-10. It's literally 91% to Democrats and 9% to Republicans. So these people have been swimming in his cash for a long, long time. And those include people such as our old friend Chuck Schumer. He's taken $7,000 from Epstein. He's not had very much to say lately. Democrat National Committee, $32,000. Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, $59,000. So that's a lot of money. So there are a handful of Republicans. George H.W. Bush got $1,000. Alphonse D'Amato of New York, former senator, Republican, he got $2,000. But most of this money has gone to Democrats. And then we also found out, interestingly enough, that none other than Hakeem Jeffries, the House Democrat leader, his campaign actually reached out to Jeffrey Epstein and said, would you like to come to a dinner to meet Hakeem Jeffries and Obama and meet the new guy back when he was a new congressman and so forth. This was 5 years after Jeffrey Epstein had been convicted for basically taking an underage girl and turning her into a prostitute. So this wasn't something, we didn't know what he was up to. This is all new to us. This guy had been convicted and spent time behind bars for pedophilia. And 5 years later, here comes Hakeem Jeffries asking for cash from Jeffries. And then we also found out that this congresswoman, I guess delegate is what you call her, representing U.S. Virgin Islands, she was texting live during a House Oversight Committee hearing with Michael Cohen, the disgraced former attorney of Donald J. Trump, and talking about a woman named Rona Graff, who was one of Trump's assistants, and trying to get her name and her information. And as soon as she got that from his text, there were some researchers able to line up her text messages and the audio, the video of the hearing. She asked a question about Rona Graff in that hearing, and about 2 minutes later, or just 1 minute after she wrapped up, Epstein texted her back, "Good work." So, and she then her spokesman came out at some point and told CNN that Delegate Plaskett feels, quote, disgust over Epstein's deviant behavior, unquote, as they put it. But in 2014, 16, and 2018, apparently it wasn't very much discussed at all, as she accepted $8,100 of Epstein's campaign cash. So these people are just covered in Jeffrey Epstein. They're just coated in him. And I think we're going to learn more as these files come out that these guys were Jeffrey Epstein's best friends. And this whole effort to get Trump, once again, is just going to explode in their faces and make them look like the idiots that they are.
Yeah, your article with the Daily Signal, which I encourage people to read about this, you list out all of the receipts that we have now, like little receipts for donations for all of these people who are involved in it. And the thing that agitates me so much, I'm wearing very thin on patience for everything for the political left, the activist political left. The only thing that matters is the proximity to Trump. It doesn't matter what the story is. It's just how does it affect Trump, or how was Trump affected, the issue at hand. And they'll take any one morsel of a detail, spin it wildly out of control, report on it, create a conversation point for the TDSers that exist in our political culture, and then they just run with it. There's no factual basis that matters in any way, shape, or form. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is actually sending the Homeland Security out into the country to find children who have been sex trafficked in our country. He's
By the hundreds,
actively.
if not thousands.
Yes.
Is it 8,000 now or something like this?
Do facts matter at all to these people? The answer is no, and it makes me mad.
No, not at all. Not at all. And of course, the idea is that if you have taken a photograph with Jeffrey Epstein, therefore you and Epstein are sharing 11-year-old girls. I mean, this is ridiculous. Yes, he was Trump and Epstein were friends up until about 2007. Evidently, Epstein was acting inappropriately with the daughter of one of the members of his Mar-a-Lago club, and he kicked him out of there. And there's this whole email where it says, Trump knew, quote-unquote, knew about the girls, quote-unquote. Well, apparently maybe he knew about the girls, and that's why he kicked him out of his club and stopped associating with him. It doesn't mean he knew about the girls, and so he's over there, dancing the hula with them at 3 a.m. or something like this. So yeah, it is guilt by association. I think it's almost McCarthyite in that respect. Now, if they got pictures of Trump with a third grader on his lap, well, then that's something. But short of any evidence like this, all we know is that they used to be friends. They had a big falling out. He kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, stopped associating with him. And by the way, he never got any money from Epstein. Epstein could have donated his campaign. He never did. Versus the fact that he gave money to Democrats, to Chuck Schumer, to a whole bunch of other Democrats, and this woman Plaskett from the U.S. Virgin Islands. So we never hear much about what that might mean, but we hear about these imaginary stories about Trump and Jeffrey Epstein being, like co-pedophiles or something like that, which is a terribly, extremely outrageous and reckless charge to throw out, unless you have evidence that somebody's done it. If so, then fine, bring out the evidence. But they have no such evidence, and it's all just guilt by association, just by the mere fact that they went to some parties together and took some pictures together years and years before he got in trouble for child sex trafficking.
Yeah. I'm looking at the, as I said, receipts earlier in the article that you've written, Democrats Love Epstein, on the Daily Signal. If Donald Trump had been given $7,000 like Senator Chuck Schumer had been, that would be all they would be talking about. If there was evidence, as your quote lists here in this article, shoot us an email or give us a call if you would like to get involved with the dinner or would like to get an opportunity to know Hakeem better, if it would say Trump better. I mean, that would be, they'd finally get the means to justify the ends in their entire endeavor here. I don't know what Republicans are supposed to do. I don't know what Trump seems to be like, over it, done with it, like, just take it, whatever. I'm clean. I'm not worried about it. What do you want to see the right do with the Epstein story? Push it, keep talking about, keep defending Trump, or do they just need to move on?
Well, I think the logic you raise sort of raises this question. I mean, if Trump getting $7,000 from Epstein proves he's a pedophile, does Chuck Schumer getting $7,000 from Epstein mean that Chuck Schumer's a pedophile? Yeah. I mean, can we jump to that conclusion? Absent any other evidence? According to these people, apparently so. So shame on Chuck Schumer for his pedophilia. I mean, that's not my view, but that sort of follows from the logic that they've set forth here. Look, I think whatever's in the files we'll find out, and whatever Republicans do will be based on that. If there's nothing there, it'll be quiet. If there are more landmines in there, they'll blow up, and we will either lament or cheer the explosions as they happen, depending who happens to step on the landmines. But I do think, independent of that, what Trump and the Republicans in the House and the Senate need to do is get very busy with the legislative agenda. They need to focus on the cost of living, which is high, getting the cost of energy lower, do something about health care. I think they have a huge opportunity to take the Obamacare subsidies, put them into health savings accounts, liberate the health insurance market, let people buy plans across state lines, get rid of all these ridiculous mandates where, for example, if you have an Obamacare plan and you're a 25, 26-year-old guy, you have to pay for pediatric dental benefits. Now, why are you paying for benefits to drill the teeth of children who do not exist, who've not yet had? It's absurd. Of course, you pay for all that. So get rid of all those mandates and make it possible for people to get inexpensive plans and cover themselves. That's the kind of thing that the GOP ought to be working on, independent of whether or not the Democrats want to jump up and down and have tantrums about the so-called Epstein files.
Yeah, keep their head down and keep working on the business of the people, not the distractions of the Democrats. We're speaking with Deroy Murdock here. Last question before we let you go. Of course, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. We're asking people in our YouTube live chat poll, will you be talking politics at Thanksgiving festivities? Deroy, do you have any advice for our listeners right now, how to handle the political conversations that may or may not come up at Thanksgiving with family members?
Well, I'll tell you how we handle things. I'm from California, so I basically don't do Thanksgiving. It's too far to go and then come back and go back out for Christmas. But at Christmas time, my relatives and I talk about food. We talk about movies. We talk about travel. We talk about dogs. We talk about old family memories. We talk about clothing. We avoid the topic completely because we know if it comes up, it's things will start getting ugly. So have you read a book lately? Have you seen a movie lately? And we leave it at that and keeps us all cheerful. I think to the degree that anybody wants to have a discussion, rather than have it at the dinner table with all 12, 15, or 20 people, if you want to have a one-on-one sidebar, you and your aunt, you and your uncle, you and your cousin, you guys can have your little one-on-one or one-on-two or two-on-two discussion, but probably avoid it at the big table where the turkey and the cranberry sauce are sitting, and just maybe go off to a corner if you want to talk about the One Big Beautiful Bill or the shutdown or the Epstein files or whatever else may come up.
Yeah, I think it's great advice, and it prioritizes people over politics, which is what politics should really be about, is people. So I think that's great.
Well, not just people, but our loved ones. Our family, our friends, our people are close to us, and hopefully we love them more than we hate the bad guys in politics, and we should focus on that, especially this time of year.
Amen. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you. We are thankful for you here on the Annie Fry Show, Deroy Murdock. We're grateful for the time we get to spend together and the insight you always provide us.
And I'm very grateful to speak with you and your listeners, and I wish you all happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again
all
soon.
right, very good. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. I think that's great advice there from Deroy on family. Like, you get sidebar conversations, that type of thing. Russell comments on the poll question, will you be talking politics at Thanksgiving festivities? He says, absolutely not. But my dinnerware has Trump's picture, Trump napkins, shot glasses, Trump silverware. I will also be wearing my Trump sweatshirt, but I will not bring politics up. Not the time. Okay, Russell. I'm just telling you, Russell, you're the one everybody's worried about. You're the one. And I suspect you do not care. Happy Thanksgiving. Let's take a quick break. Ryan's coming back in here in a second. We're going to speak with Congressman Eric Burlison here shortly. So stick around. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
You got to find your people, the ones that make you feel whole. They won't leave your side.
Well, the holiday season is here, which means that the new year is upon us. And I want to talk to you about the Lutheran schools in the area. And I specifically want to talk to you about the Lutheran Elementary School Association, LISA, if you will, with an E. If you go to lisastl.org, you can learn about the 34 elementary schools that are in the Lutheran system here, the Lutheran Church Missouri system, Synod system here in the bi-state area. And there's a Lutheran school out there for your child or for your grandchild. There's also tuition assistance that's available. We're very proud to partner with LISA to have established an Annie Fry Show scholarship for Lutheran schools. There are lots of opportunities out there to make it accessible and affordable for you. They have special education in most of their schools. They support IEPs and special needs. But what you are looking for is a unique private Christian schooling in an environment that you can trust to hand your children over and know that they're going to come back enriched at the end of the day. If you want to learn more about a Lutheran school near you, visit them online at lisastl.org.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Lights flickering?
Grasser can fix it.
Breaker keeps tripping?
That's a Grasser job.
Outlet not working?
Grasser makes it right.
Old wiring need a rewire?
Grasser rewires with care.
From little fixes to major fixes.
Even the tricky ones.
We treat your home like our own.
Treat? Did you say treat? Woof. Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 39 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
This is your chance to win
win a free basic handgun skills class from the Range St. Louis West. Mark Cox here, 14803 Manchester Road in Baldwin is where the range sits, and you got to go. This is ideal for beginners, expert instruction. They have it available in a women-only class if you're more comfortable. Normally, the class is $135. You can win right now, therangestl.com/971. Again, therangestl.com/971.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you could get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
With conviction and clarity, The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. So we have Congressman Eric Burlison coming up in about 8 minutes from right now. And I'm really excited to juxtapose Madi Biedermann in the 12 o'clock hour, in the middle of the 12 o'clock hour. She's the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Communications at the United States Department of Education. Now, we continue to hear from Secretary McMahon about the move towards abolishing the Department of Education. Makes people freak out. Certain types of people freak out for sure. Education in this country is degrading and degrading quickly. Expectations are low and they're not even being met. It's a huge problem. Why do we keep throwing so much money at it? Also, the Department of Education, heavily invested, of course, in elementary education, secondary education, also early childhood education. I really want to see an overhaul in how we do higher education, college, university funding. Why are these institutions of higher learning being soaked with all of this taxpayer dollars, these loans to get degrees that aren't going to produce jobs? I think I saw that it's like 25 to 30% of the unemployed right now have a bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
What's the point of going to school if you have a 1 in 3 chance of not being able to get a job?
It sounds to me like an area that needs serious reform.
Yes, like you should be going to college so that you can be an employee or an employer, one of the other. And if you're going to go to college and spend, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on an education that isn't going to turn over into a job that's going to be able to pay off those loans that were given to you by the taxpayer, then that system is broken. And the problem, it makes me crazy. The people who want to expand and throw money at our education system, taxpayer dollars at our education system, they always want to compensate it more and more and more. They're never asking, why does it cost so darn much? Like maybe taxpayers do have an investment to make in an educated public, but only if that educated public is actually producing for the public, not leeching off of it because they can't get a job and now they need to be on some sort of subsidized aid. So, okay, you want to give out loans? Okay, give out loans to degrees that are going to materialize into work, into jobs, into entrepreneurship or something to that extent. Not to something that isn't going to materialize in a degree that's going to, I'm not going to say that public service and public work isn't worth investing, I think. Yes.
Well, you're using the word investing, too.
Well, but I'm talking about the taxpayer dollar being invested in. But if you get a liberal studies degree so you can go work for the government, then your loan has been subsidized by the people so that you can be paid by the people.
I remember I started college when I was 17, and I think I graduated when I was 21. So pretty young. You're just becoming an adult. You're just starting to form opinions about the bigger picture, the bigger structures. But I remember in those years thinking a lot of the people I would come across, and it's not 100% of them, but a lot of them, obviously there was a leftist agenda, a bias there. And this was 25 years ago. But there was also something else. It was that they seemed insulated from the real world.
They're not in they're not in it.
It just bothered me.
Well, if you go to college to become a worker or an employer, there's a goal in mind. And you probably want to get out of it as fast as you possibly can so you can start making money.
Yeah.
If you go to college to become an activist, it never really ends. And it probably doesn't result. There's no big money in activism that doesn't exist. That there's no big money in activism that exists outside of NGOs and government,
Yeah.
say it, money laundering
Yeah.
circles that are not productive to society. So why are taxpayers subsidizing these things? But I want to set that whole conversation aside because you can have the same parallel discussion when it comes to our healthcare system. Why is it that things that cost so outrageously much? We're only ever talking about how to pay for healthcare. We're never asking the question publicly as part of the main conversation. Why does it cost so much? Have you ever looked? You are entitled to an itemized bill if you've been in the hospital so that you can know how much you paid for the singular Tylenol that you took while you were there. It's crazy to look at the itemized cost of what people are charged to consume the health care that they are provided. And does that mean that everything should be, slash 75% across the board and healthcare shouldn't cost this much? I want surgeons to make an enormous amount of money so that they become very well educated, very accomplished in their field of study, so that we have the very best surgeons right here in the United States of America. That's what I want. I have no problem with these people who are literally saving lives, making buttloads of cash. But I also don't know why a Tylenol needs to cost like $12 per Tylenol that you take. Maybe there's a good explanation for it. But if we never talk about why things cost so much, if we never talk about free market principles that would allow costs to be regulated because people can choose, or have options when it comes to their healthcare providers, and if we only soak the insurance companies, just like we've soaked the higher education companies, why is it that we only ever talk about we need more money to pay for these things, not why is it costing so darn much? Congressman Eric Burlison will be with us next, and we are going to talk to him about health care. We're going to talk about a Republican plan to make health care affordable, and is it going to be on the back of taxpayers to subsidize so that everybody has a specific kind of access to health care on the backs of all of the taxpayers, or at least, obviously the taxpayers, the people who pay taxes? What's going to make these costs come down? What's going to make insurance companies cover the things they need to cover? Lots of questions, of course, that deserve answers. And Congressman Eric Burlison of Missouri's 7th Congressional District is going to talk to us about it next. Don't go away.
So at Air Comfort Service, they understand that you might need to have your heating system checked. Maybe it's been a minute. We don't need to talk about how long it's been. Just the fact that you probably need to get it done right away. 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. It's time to schedule your heating system check so you can heat your home safely. This is a big deal. They have the best way to keep not only your heating system, but your entire HVAC system in peak shape all year long with their preferred partner plan. Lack of maintenance is a main cause of breakdowns. It causes you to have to replace your HVAC system prematurely. Nobody wants that. Look into their preferred partner plan. Regularly scheduled heating and cooling system checks twice a year, discounts on diagnostic calls and repairs, and a discount on new equipment. Plus, you're going to get priority service. If you're interested in becoming a preferred partner and making sure that you are ahead of a broken down furnace system, 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Will you be talking politics at Thanksgiving festivities this year? That's our YouTube live chat poll. Let us know what you think. It is 1:32. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
From Alton to Wildwood, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hey, the love of God has got me clean. No old spies. That desert I was in was deep, so dry. But now I'm out here feeling free, so fly. I'm chilling in the shade. Life gave me some lemons, but my Jesus, he be making lemonade.
The truth of the matter is, in my view, that the current healthcare system is broken, it is dysfunctional, and it is cruel. But I want to ask my Republican friends a simple question. Are you happy with the fact that here in the United States we are the only major country not to guarantee health care to every man, woman, and child? We are unique. That's not the kind of exceptionalism we should be proud of. Are you happy that we are paying twice as much per capita for health care, over $14,000 per person?
I wonder if that's the first time that Bernie Sanders and Forrest Frank have ever been mashed up. It might possibly be, but here we are on the Annie Fry Show.
I think you could look over the whole of human history and say yes confidently.
We're going to try to make some lemonade out of those lemons in our lemon-like healthcare system. And Bernie Sanders says he wants to ask the Republicans, his Republican colleagues, a question. So we're going to do that right here, also on the Annie Fry Show. Definitely the first time Forrest Frank, Senator Bernie Sanders, and Congressman Eric Burlison have all been in the same conversation together.
It's history being made.
Congressman, happy Thanksgiving Eve. We're so grateful that you're here with us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Forrest Frank or Bernie Sanders? Don't answer that. So let me ask you the question about health care. Bernie Sanders wants to know what his Republican colleagues think about our meticulously broken health care system. I suspect that you might agree that the system is broken. Solution might differ a bit.
Yeah, it's completely broken. And it's broken because the Democrats have loved on the healthcare system too much. I mean, they're like the character Lenny in the story Mice and Men, this pets it until it's dead. And that's why Obamacare passed. And since then, we've had a near 300% increase in inflation or the cost of health services. Compare that to the price of a new car, which is only in the same time period is only up less than 25%. And then, other things like cell phone services, computer software, TVs, most things in the free market go down in cost. But when government touches something, it causes inflation. And that's what we're experiencing with healthcare. And we can fix it if we return to a free market.
So let me ask you this question. Bernie Sanders is very, very dismayed at the current state of healthcare in our country. Where we are right now in 2025, is our healthcare system thanks to Democrats? Is it thanks to Republicans? How have the parties come together to produce the situation, the problem that we have right now on our hands that Bernie Sanders is identifying?
I think you can blame both parties. You can blame the Democrats for this failed, socialist concept that is Obamacare. And then you can blame Republicans for not doing the right thing and repealing it or providing at least an alternative path. And that's what we have to do. We have a supply problem and a demand problem. So if you get out the old supply demand chart, you can see that in healthcare, we have shifted the supply side down by by limiting how many people can become a doctor. We limit, who can get a prescription or who can give you a prescription, what drugs are available to you. We limit for example, hospitals have all consolidated because of the government regulations. Insurance companies have all consolidated. It used to be hundreds of insurance companies would provide health insurance. Today, there's like 5 carriers. That's not a free market. And on the other side, on the demand side, we've basically forced that up because we've told people you have to buy more than you actually need. When they created Obamacare and they said that every policy has to meet the 10 essential benefits, well, that's like telling us, okay, if you want to go to the pizza store, government pizza or government is taking over, no one's allowed to get a single person small cheese pizza. You have to get the extra large family deluxe with all the toppings. And the end product is expensive and includes a lot of things that people don't want. And that's the healthcare system that we have today. And there is a way to roll this back.
So I want to ask you, before we talk about the solution, because I'm very curious to hear how, I know that you've been passionate about this, which is why I'm so grateful to have you on to talk about it. Is it just affordability? Is it also the mechanism, the system that we're in right now? When we talk about healthcare on this show, one of the complaints we hear a lot about is how it feels like you go to the doctor, but you need to go to the health insurance companies in order to get the care that you need approved. And I've experienced that myself when I was pregnant. I had terrible, terrible nausea and had been prescribed something in my second pregnancy that really matter-of-factly solved the problem. When I had my third pregnancy, my doctor prescribed that medicine that helped me the last time, and my insurance company said no. They wanted me to try 3 medicines before they would approve coverage for the one that actually helped. All 3 of those medicines I had taken before. But I had to go through all of these hoops just because the insurance company wanted to be able to check boxes that something cheaper wouldn't work. My doctor knew the care that I needed, and that's not a life or death situation. There are people facing cancer treatments that are having to do what their health insurance companies tell them in spite of what their doctors are telling them. So it's cost, but it's also care that people are very, very brokenhearted over.
It is. And look, at the end of the day, people just nobody wants insurance. Nobody wants to buy insurance. People need health care. And the fact that we've created a mandate that you have to have insurance companies, purchase your health care, that's what's causing the problem and eliminating your choice. For example, our current tax structure forces employer-sponsored care, right? So your employer is supposed to provide a plan for their group of lives that meet the required benefits that government has. And then the moment that decision has occurred, the moment you picked your job, you have completely lost control of what the healthcare product is going to be for you. And what I mean by that is you no longer, if your doctor is in network or out of network, that's not your choice. It's your employer's choice and the insurance carrier. If you want to use a PBM like you're referring to, a pharmacy benefit manager, or maybe you like a different one, depending on which kind of drugs that you need, you can't do, you don't have any control over that. That control is done by the insurance company and your employer. And the list goes on and on. What hospital you can actually be treated in. There's some crazy scenarios where people get taken to an ER and that they would believe is in network, only to find out that the doctor is not in the network. All of that kind of stuff that people it grinds your teeth and people pull their hair out over are things that really could be corrected if we just gave people back the freedom to choose where to spend their health dollars.
Yeah, that freedom, man, that's the name of the game here in the United States of America. We need more of it. We're speaking with Congressman Eric Burlison, the 7th Congressional District Representative here in Missouri. Also serves on the House Oversight Committee, and he has a podcast, which I encourage you to check out, called Fresh Freedom. You can go to @Rep.EricBurlison on socials to find out more about that. So let's talk about solutions, because everybody is saying, okay, problem. Everybody's pointing at the same problem. Universal socialized healthcare. That's Bernie Sanders' solution. What's Congressman Burlison's solution?
So my solution is actually piggybacking on a lot of ideas from Chip Roy, who I think is one of the most brilliant policy makers that I've ever met. And he has a bill that he filed back, I believe, several years ago called the Health Freedom Act. It basically takes the health savings accounts and juices them up almost like to the point where they're not even recognizable because they're so good. And then I take those same ideas and kind of go further with it. And the way that this would work is every American can open up a MAHA account or a Freedom account, right? And then in that account, any money that you put in or your employer puts in, or maybe a neighbor who wants to provide a charitable donation, all of that goes in tax, pre-tax. So it's tax-free money going in, and then it can grow. Any unutilized money grows just like within an HSA, and that growth is tax-free. And then you don't have to, when you utilize the care and you spend the money, you don't have to pay taxes on that money either. So it's triple tax advantage, which is kind of what the way an HSA works today. But here's the kicker. In this plan, the employer now is empowered to say, we're no longer doing the employer plan. We would prefer that you just pick which insurance product you want, and we'll send you a check. And that suddenly frees people up to purchase a policy that meets their needs. And then any unutilized funds are growing. Furthermore, you could do things that are like really innovative, like pay for direct primary care, which is very popular today. You could do an association plan, or you could do a sharing ministry if you wanted to do that. Or you could just pay directly. Like if you have some arrangement with a provider, you could just pay directly and negotiate the price on your own. So, if you wanted to buy insurance, whatever insurance, whether it's a state-sponsored plan, federal plan, God forbid, maybe you want to stick in your Affordable Care Act plan. You're a fool, but you would have that choice. And then the cool part, this is from my conversations with Bobby Kennedy's team, is that they've recognized that Americans are very unhealthy because we eat unhealthy food. We can all agree. We can do better. And then we pay for it on the back end. So the truth is, Americans spend less money per capita than any other country on food. But we pay for it because we're buying crap food and then we're unhealthy. So we're paying for it in our medical bills. We can do something to reverse that by encouraging people with this new account, this new MAHA account, to have about $150 a month that you can go out and tax-free purchase the protein, the produce, vitamins, supplements, and even a gym membership, all this, to encourage you to be healthy and to get healthy. So that's kind of, that idea is kind of the new idea, the innovative idea, the way that we kind of bring this MAHA movement into the fold. And then you interject all the choice and back into the system with the MAHA account. I think that we have a winning solution here.
Congressman Eric Burlison speaking with us. That puts the power of choice into the hand of the consumer, as opposed to the insurance company soaking up all the money and the power to approve and deny based on their bottom line. What do you see? What would health insurance companies, those who would now have to compete for the monies in these MAHA accounts, what kind of thoughts do you have on what they might offer the consumer to attract business their way when it comes to how consumers, people who need this different types of healthcare, choose to spend their MAHA dollars?
Yeah, that is a great question. So think of it the same way that when you turn on the TV, there's a Liberty Mutual commercials, there's Progressive commercials, but you don't ever see, health insurance commercials, right?
Right.
That's because they're not competing for you.
Correct.
They don't care. And so, but suddenly they're going to be having to price, they know that people will be price shopping and people will be choosing their product, whether it's good quality. And if you decide I'm going to go with Blue Cross, and then you find out Blue Cross is a real pain in the rear to work with, then guess what? That's how the free market works. You can leave Blue Cross, you can go to somebody else. And that's the real power of a free market.
And then Blue Cross has to do a better job. Like that, for the people who are left at Blue Cross, they're losing customers. They're hemorrhaging customers because their customer service or the products that they offer sucks. They've got to do better.
Mm-hmm.
It elevates the whole system. I was thinking, too, it might have been a conversation that you had here on the show. It might be somebody else. But, if you look at it's obviously not the same as credit cards. But whenever I go anywhere, if I'm traveling or something, I'm always scanning all of the benefits that come with signing up for a credit card. So you sign up and you get all of these, you can get discounts, you can get access, you can get upgradable scenarios in different places. But credit cards are doing so many different things to try to attract people to say, okay, I'm going to use my buying and purchasing power with Chase or with American Express or whatever it is. It's all a matter of benefits that go to the consumer to attract people in. And if you were to have health, and different healthcare companies could choose different types of lanes, people who need a lot of health care, people who really just need emergency care, you pull these people in by offering them benefits. You put the power of the spend back with the consumer and taxpayer. And it kind of flips the whole system on its head. It's the exact opposite of what the Affordable Care Act ended up actually being.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we can't even, politicians, when you step away from the free market, we'll find that there are ideas and solutions that no one could ever have dreamed of that will come forward and emerge forward if you make it available. And that's why I think that we need to step out of this. And I think the American people, they're not happy with certainly the amount of money that you're paying. Does anybody really think that you're getting your money's worth?
Mm-mm.
Nobody does.
Mm-mm.
And so suddenly you put that choice back in the people's hands. And then truly, once people are making decisions, price transparency for doctors, that is a non-issue, because every doctor will now know that the patient is going to ask the question because the patient cares about the price.
Yes.
Right. And so suddenly you'll see hospitals start advertising their rates, start trying to, entice people to utilize their services. You might even see a product that's called direct hospital care, which is kind of like direct primary care, where you pay a monthly subscription to the hospital system you want. And then that hospital is kind of, if anything happens, then they'll cover that. So there's a lot of innovative things that could happen if we would just let it happen.
Congressman Eric Burlison speaking with us right now. I love the way that you're approaching this. To me, this is actually a hopeful conversation. I think healthcare, people's blood pressure starts to rise when they start thinking about healthcare, especially if you have some sort of chronic condition or you have, a certain team of providers to care for a specific kind of need. As soon as you start talking about health insurance, people start getting really anxious because it's such a horrible experience to have to, if you've got to get on the phone with the health insurance company, it's a nightmare. The way you speak about it, Congressman Burlison, is hopeful. It's like there is a better way out there. This isn't the best that it can possibly be. There's something else we can look forward to. I do think it's a very fresh conversation that people need to be engaging in. And I want to talk a little bit real quick before we let you go about your podcast called Fresh Freedom. When we have these conversations, Congressman, I always feel like you are not in just the rigmarole of talking about things in the same way that we've always done them and just for the purpose of pointing at Democrats and blaming them. You're looking for solutions. Talk to me about Fresh Freedom and what people will get if they take a listen.
Yeah, it's the podcast. We try to bring in policy experts and people that are leading discussions, lawmakers who are truly, free market focused. And that's what the Fresh Freedom podcast is about. It's really kind of me and my comms director nerding out with people on policy. So if you're interested in nerding out, then subscribe or take a look.
I love it. Last question before we let you go. Our YouTube poll today. You're a congressman. You are serving in what, from the outside looking in, can often look like one of the nastiest places in political discourse, which is actually in Congress. Our question to our listeners, I'm curious of your advice about talking politics at Thanksgiving festivities. What do you think?
I think that we can't escape the space. I would say don't go in hot, but also I think the posture of don't also let people walk on you. Don't let
Hold your ground.
that liberal family member who's has factually wrong information, don't let them dominate. But at the end of the day, I think this is a time for people to kind of to love your family members, spend time with them, actually engage and find out what's really going on in their lives. And hopefully, I think if we did more of that, then we would probably have less conflicts.
Oh, amen. Yeah, you can't back away from it, but you don't have to be lobbing bombs across the turkey table. That's for sure. Congressman, we're grateful for you. I encourage people to check out your podcast, Fresh Freedom. Thank you for being with us. We hope you have a very blessed Thanksgiving with the people important to you.
Thank you. You too, Annie. Appreciate you. Everything you do.
I'm happy to be here. Happy to have you as well. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Congressman Eric Burlison. I love listening to him talking about healthcare. Like when I don't know how much you were able to. I know you were working on a lot of things there, Ryan, while we were talking to Eric Burlison. But the hopefulness of a better healthcare system, one that actually serves the consumer and not the insurance company. I'm up for that.
Well, America wants this bad right now. And I don't think this is a partisan issue. How they solve it will, of course, be a partisan issue. But the hope that I'm hearing is that both sides seem to know that they need to do something, which is not always the case.
I do want to report right now on a little bit from Fox News. Brad, let's get ready to pop this up here. There is a report that there are National Guard troops shot near the White House with unknown conditions. Let's listen into Fox. I think Paul Morrow is talking right now.
In all of this, going back, in fact, to the riot that we had there around the monument and all of that. So it's quite conceivable that if somebody is trying, again, we're just speculating now, but if somebody is trying to send a message, you'd have to think that that would be a place that has particular significance. But either way, I was just down in D.C. To testify to Congress, actually, and, you see them around. And I passed two of them, 3 in the morning, 3 in the morning, very late at night. And there they are walking along the street, just, again, their omnipresence, their eyes and ears, and they were just walking by me, and I made sure to say hello to them and, let them know they were appreciated. But the point is that they're just out there as eyes and ears. And the fact that they are out there just that way, unfortunately, you have to recognize, because their presence is somewhat passive, it makes them potential targets. And I just hope that, both of them are okay, because it's a brave thing to be standing out there and to be told you're here just to be seen. By definition there, that means that people might wish you ill intent can't see you and can take action.
So, as far as what we know right now, this is coming from Jen Griffin and Bill Mears. Two sources are confirming that 2 National Guard members were shot in Washington, D.C. This was about a mile from the White House. The conditions of those 2 guardsmen are not known, and the whereabouts of the alleged shooter are not known. So, Paul, you have to imagine that there is a massive investigation already underway, and search is on.
Oh, absolutely. I can't work the phone right now because I'm on air, but
right.
I'm getting some texts in here. Look,
okay.
Let's just put it that way. There's video everywhere in Washington. They're going to roll these guys up. They're probably all over them already. You got to imagine there's a mad scramble on. One of the things I would just say now is this is important.
Okay.
Somebody has to take charge.
We're starting to get a whole lot more information. The story is going to pick up coverage here after a break. Kristi Noem is confirming DHS is working with local law enforcement to gather more information. She is confirming 2 National Guardsmen were shot moments ago in Washington, D.C.
So that is the news coming right now from Fox News. We're going to stay close to the story because I don't think we know right now what's going on. They said about a mile from the White House. So I was at the White House, actually got to go to the White House at the end of April, and very familiar with the way they're around, and they're friendly. You can talk to them. I talked to, it was the summer before that, I went with my husband, and we stood there and talked about to one of those National Guardsmen who he'd served in Afghanistan, multiple tours over there, now was in working with Secret Service and that type of stuff. I mean, these people are just out there. They're folks who they're badasses, but they are patrolling to be seen. That's what they said right there. Stay close. We'll give you any updates on this important story near the White House when we come back.
He knits it all together, cozier than a sweater.
So Thanksgiving, it's almost here. Ruler Foods has everything you need to make it delicious while stretching your holiday dollars. RulerFoods.com. You can always go to RulerFoods.com and see whatever savings they have special on top of the normal shop at Ruler Foods, and you're going to save money specials that they have. Right now, Kroger frozen turkeys, a 10 to 20 pounder, just 49 cents a pound with a limit of 2. You can stock up on 12 packs of Pepsi or Coke products at buy 2, get 2 free prices with a limit of 8. And those fluffy, delicious mashed potatoes for the holiday dinner coming up, a 10-pound bag of Kroger russet potatoes, just $2.99. You can celebrate Thanksgiving with all the friends and family around the table and provide a wonderful, delicious holiday meal for less. Stress less and stretch your holiday dollars at Ruler Foods. If you want to, you can schedule a delivery and have those savings shipped directly to your door. When you visit them online, you can send that delivery from rulerfoods.com.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
What's up? It's Draymond Green. I'm back for my 14th NBA season, and my podcast, The Draymond Green Show, is back too. This season, I'm breaking down games, reacting to the biggest NBA stories, and sitting down with teammates, rivals, and culture shapers. And trust me, I'm not holding back, on the court or on the mic. 2 new episodes every week, new segments, big conversations, real basketball talk for the real hoop heads. Listen to and follow The Draymond Green Show wherever you get your podcasts. We're back, we're better, let's get it.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you can find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
KFTK FM Florissant.
An Odyssey station.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
A fair amount of sunshine this afternoon, but it is windy and it is cold. 46 for the high, but it feels colder. Tonight, partly cloudy, keeping it cold. Lighter winds, 29. Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, plenty of sunshine, breezy and cold, 42. And Friday, partly sunny, 41. Unsettled weather late Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday with a mix of rain and sloppy wet snow. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This happening about a mile from the White House. There is no confirmation yet on their conditions. Police so far calling this a critical incident. No other details yet. Vice President J.D. Vance is visiting Kentucky's Fort Campbell, serving and dining with the troops there as President Trump pushes a plan to end the war in Ukraine.
Trump says his team is making tremendous progress and has directed Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow. He will likely be accompanied by by President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin, the U.S. Army Secretary, may meet with Ukrainian officials. A white Thanksgiving in parts of the Midwest, especially Michigan's Upper Peninsula.
We've already seen 18 inches of snowfall in parts of the UP, and more of that cold air is going to be crashing down.
Fox Weather's Nick Cordes says more is coming Friday into the weekend, and Chicago could have record November snow. That could affect the return trip for Thanksgiving travels, with ripple effects for airports around the country. Airline catering workers protesting last night outside Los Angeles International Airport, and just a short time ago, inside that airport.
It appears that another protest has broken out here at LAX in Terminal 7. It appears that these workers are from USWW.
Fox Business's Max Gordon at LAX. Around the country, there are hundreds of delays, but so far not many flight cancellations. America is listening to Fox News.
If a Lenovo computer for your business is on your holiday list, don't shop around. Just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com. You'll find exclusive deals on the PCs you want for your business, like the ThinkPad X9 14 Aura Edition and Yoga 7i 2-in-1. So avoid all that shopping chaos and price comparing, and just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com, where PCs are up to 50% off. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 56 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance and installation, and heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
So Fox News is reporting that there are 2 National Guard troops who have been shot in Washington, D.C. Before we went to a break, there was a report that it was within a mile of the White House. Let's listen into Fox News right now as they are broadcasting live with this developing story.
Currently in the city on the orders of the president, basically to help keep crime down here in the city. That's why he brought them in earlier this year. The White House is chiming in right now, the press office, saying that they are aware, they're actively monitoring this tragic situation, and the president has been briefed. That's according to Caroline Leavitt, of course, the White House press secretary. Tell me right now, we know this, we don't have a gunman in custody, at least we aren't clear if we do or not, if this person or persons have been apprehended, and we don't know the conditions of these troops yet. What happens right now? What are the next steps to be able to bring this person into custody?
Right. So the initial response is obviously that is the number one priority, is making sure that these guardsmen are receiving medical care, understanding the condition. That is always the first and foremost priority of law enforcement and first responders. Next is apprehending this individual. I've said this so many times in solving investigations. This is an all hands on deck, reviewing video surveillance. When did this happen? Who saw what happened? Interviewing the witnesses and literally identifying who this person was and backtracking, tracing their steps back from where they came. Did they come from a car? Did they come from this? What transportation hub were they in? That is what law enforcement is doing right now. But I've said this before, this is probably the most powerful tool that law enforcement has in this day and age. Someone is watching the news right now, and they know who did this. And right now is the time for you to be providing tips and information. And I guarantee you that the hotline will be created if this person is brought into custody very soon, which is my wish. But if not, someone knows who did this, and this is how law enforcement has solved many recent investigations of this sort. But the rhetoric against law enforcement, against our National Guardsmen, It's got to be toned down. And again, without jumping too far ahead, the motive in this, I do not think it is a coincidence that it is happening at a time when, maybe not as many people were at work today. A lot of people started taking off for the Thanksgiving vacation. The timing when an individual does this, my guess is that it was very well planned out into how and when they were going to carry out this assault.
Okay. Nicole, and D.C. police is telling us that one suspect is in custody. So hopefully we will get more information from D.C. police on who that person is and what we can learn about that person as quickly as possible. Nicole, thanks for joining us on this breaking news. Want to turn to Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin now. She's got more on the National Guard presence here in the nation's capital. This has we've gotten accustomed to seeing these young people, and they are young people, who give up so much to keep all of us safe, and they've been here with us for months now and are supposed to be with us for at least through the new year. What can you tell us, Jen, about how they're trained and how their training might have kicked in a situation like this?
Well, Aisha, remember the National Guard was deployed to Washington, D.C. by the president. They were not asked for by the mayor, but the president decided that there was so much crime in D.C. that he needed to send in the National Guard. So there are about 2,300 National Guard deployed to the nation's capital. About 960 are D.C. National Guardsmen. The rest of them, about 1,300, come from other states. We don't know at this point whether those who were shot today were D.C. National Guardsmen or from those other states. It's been a very costly mission since August 15th when they were deployed to the nation's capital. And on November 2nd, the president extended the request for the National Guard to stay at least through February. By all accounts, the 1,300 Guardsmen who have come from outside of D.C., it's cost about $68 million to keep them here since mid-August. But now the ultimate cost is that they have been put into a kind of law enforcement position, even though they had hoped that they would, we've seen the scenes since mid-August, Aisha, of them cleaning up trash, of helping, basically helping just provide sort of a sense of security here in the Capitol. But now it seems that they've become a target, and we don't have any details on the condition of the two who were wounded today in the shooting. But we have confirmed with the U.S. Army that two guardsmen were shot just blocks from the White House. It's really quite shocking, especially when you remember the president said that crime was really down in D.C. and that there were no shootings anymore. This is a real wake-up call on the eve of Thanksgiving.
I agree completely, and I don't think that we've had really any incidents since these troops have been here. It's been, to my impression, walking around D.C., and I used to live in this city, that it has been pretty calm since they have been here stationed. This is a comment from the Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem on X right now. She says, "Please join me in praying for the two National Guardsmen who were just shot moments ago in Washington, D.C. DHS is working with local law enforcement to gather more information. I believe AG Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel have also been briefed. They're also looking into this. What are you hearing from the Pentagon and Secretary Hegseth, and what kind of briefing might he get in what just happened here?"
Well, no statements yet from the Pentagon. Remember, the Army Secretary, Dan Driscoll, is actually the person who is put in charge of these National Guardsmen when it's a very complicated relationship between the federal government and the D.C., since D.C. is not a state, and the fact that guardsmen federal guard were sent to the city. It does create an interesting relationship with the Pentagon, kind of caught in the middle with the president ordering the troops here. But again, going back to, you asked about their training, the Guardsmen really are not trained in law enforcement. And that is one of the concerns from the get-go that the U.S. Army has had over the years in terms of putting National Guard into cities like Washington, D.C. that have had a high crime rate in the past. So it's not clear what happened today. What I have seen, and you were discussing how the city feels these days, what I've seen is National Guardsmen just kind of being out friendly, walking among the people, picking up trash, as I mentioned, really kind of being good citizens, if you will. But they're not there to really stop crime, and it's really not clear how they became, these two individuals became a target, and we'll learn more, obviously, with the FBI on the scene and DHS involved. We understand that Pam Bondi and others, including the president, have been briefed, but there just aren't a lot of details at this point.
Jen Griffin, stand by. Thank you for coming in on this breaking news. I want to go to our Washington correspondent, Mark Meredith, who is on the phone with us. He just arrived on the scene. We're going to quickly get a camera up for him. Mark, I've been getting some text messages from some sources in the area that tell me that the Treasury Department has been locked down. I imagine some of the other federal government buildings in the area are also in that current state, even though they apparently have this guy in custody. What does it look like to you right now? On screen, we're seeing a ton of police officers, U.S. Marshals officers, some fire trucks. What are you seeing?
Aisha, you're right. It's pure chaos out here as we see members of the ATF, the Department of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, as well as the National Guard, D.C. Police, Secret Service, you name the police agency, they've got somebody out here. This is about 3 or 4 blocks away from the White House itself, an area that we, as Washington reporters, frequent quite a bit. There's a Tate Bakery right next to it, but the incident appears to have happened right in front of the metro station here at Farragut West. And what we're seeing here looks like the command post being set up. There's also a D.C. police helicopter about 500 feet in a stationary position right above where this incident took place. I just spoke to an eyewitness who did not see the shooting itself, but she saw the aftermath and the people running, and she knew something was up immediately because it was members of the National Guard that were running towards the scene, and that was her biggest indication that she knew that something was up. Members of the Secret Service also do have their weapons in ready position here outside, as a number of media as well as tourist bystanders that are basically just here to look at what's going on. I see members of the White House press corps that have kind of come out of the building to see what is happening here. Where this is, in terms of what Jennifer was just talking about in terms of the National Guard, is somewhat typical since this deployment. We have seen the National Guard at high visible spots across the city. I live near the 8th Street corridor, and you'll see them kind of going up and down in the evening hours. Also here at busy metro stops, Union Station, areas where there would be a lot of foot traffic is where you'll see these National Guard members. I can see these 4 National Guard troops. I have no idea where they're from here, but they're just basically standing in disbelief, trying to understand what has happened to 2 of their colleagues, Aisha.
Well, it's interesting. That area is so different from the rest of the district because there's not a whole lot of residents that live in that area. There's a lot of offices and government buildings and, of course, the White House. So you have a ton of tourists that are meandering around. And I imagine that it's just tourists there today because most people probably went home for the holiday. Can you tell? It's hard for us to see, and the camera's been shaky a little bit. Mark, does this look like it happened right outside the subway, the metro? Because that's what we're hearing, that it happened right outside the metro, and perhaps, and we don't know, maybe he came from the metro or he tried to run into the metro. Can you tell how close it is?
I see evidence markers directly in front of the subway entrance. It's kind of like the yellow placards, if you will, that if you've watched, Law and Order and any of those crime shows, you would recognize it. And that's exactly what we see outside of the entrance, which would be at the corner. If I'm at 17th, that looks like that would be at the corner of 18th and I, from where that incident would occur. Now, I don't see any, I hate to say it like this, you don't see any bodies or anybody laying down. Instead, it's just those evidence placards. But they're also keeping that area fairly secure. You don't see law enforcement going in and out of that area, an indication that that would be the spot that they'd want to preserve because it would be a crime scene. But in terms of what we're actually seeing is right now, it's kind of a collection. It's all these law enforcement agencies trying to get on the same page. You've got, as well as DC Fire, that's got one of their engines out here right now. But they're also trying to do what they can to kind of block this area. You brought up a good point. This is not a residential area. If you know Washington, this is about as commercial and as government as you can get. You've got the Office of the Motion Picture Administration Agency. You've got a number of high-profile lobbying offices. We're just a block away from K Street, after all. And you've got a very, very heavy foot traffic of what would be tourists or people that would be done for the workday. But you're right, Aisha, this would not be residential. I do also see more and more of the federal law enforcement investigators making their way closer to the subway entrance. I would imagine at some point we'll get a briefing from a PIO, Public Information Officer, as well as likely the D.C. Police Chief. Metro Police, they have their own police agency. Aisha, that's how big of a city Washington is, that they have their own Metro Transit Police. And I would imagine, in addition to the federal contingent out here, that they're going to have their top folks out as well. no indication yet how quickly that briefing may be coming. It is, as you know, a holiday weekend, so I would imagine that they're having to call in a lot of people that may have already taken off for the day. But I see more and more investigators with their guns ready, making their way closer to this metro stop. I would imagine, I believe this is the blue, orange, and silver line. I can't quite see the colors from, it looks like blue, silver, and yellow lines, which would be impacted for people that would be traveling that way.
That's a good point.
But a lot of people trying to figure out exactly what's going on. As I mentioned, the number of media, because we are so close to the White House. We're 2 blocks away. People are just pouring out here into the streets.
Mark Meredith reporting right now for Fox News. We're going to monitor this situation as it is obviously a live, active, developing scenario. They are reporting that there's a suspect in custody after National Guardsmen troops have been shot within a mile of the White House. We're going to take a break. We're going to watch for details and developments as they happen. We will bring them to you as soon as they do. Very proud here at 97.1 FM Talk to be the St. Louis Fox News Radio affiliate. We will bring you the news as it happens and continue on with the show here after a quick break. Don't go away.
The Diamond Shop. You find them online at thediamondshop.net. Buying jewelry, it's about trusting the person you're buying it from and believing that they have the knowledge, the experience to guide you through your purchase. It means trust. It means walking into a place where you know they probably know more about fine jewelry and whatever you're bringing in or whatever you're trying to purchase and take out. They know more about that transaction than you do, and you want to be able to trust that they have your best interest at heart. And that's why I am so excited to be partnered with the Diamond Shop, because they're wonderful people. And being able to send you to meet Tom, to meet Mona, to meet Nikki, the staff at the Diamond Shop, I know every single time when you go in there and you say Annie sent you, they're going to be excited to see you and they are going to treat you as well as they possibly can. You're going to get great service, a wonderful product. And you're going to say, gosh, I wish I would have known about these folks sooner. Visit the Diamond Shop in Clayton or online right now at thediamondshop.net.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-224-5353. That's 800-224-5353. Again, that's 800-224-5353.
Most people spend decades saving for retirement, but few ever learn how to turn those savings into lasting income. And that's where Financial and Tax Architects comes in. They help people across St. Louis work to protect their life savings, minimize taxes, and retire with confidence. Now, they do a Retirement Planning 101 class, and it shows you exactly what others often miss: how to avoid hidden tax traps in your 401k or IRA, and how to make smarter decisions about Social Security. Now, this is a one-night, 2.5-hour, no-cost educational event. Seats fill up fast. And at FTA, they like to say that financial peace of mind in retirement is all about income. Lose the job and keep the paycheck. That's exactly what FTA will help you do. So if you're within 10 years of retirement or already retired, you can't afford to miss it. Call 314-888-5101 or go to fta-ria.com and reserve your seat now.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you can find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.
Home Shield Foundation Repairs.com. Reach out to Matt Hayes and find out what you need to know about solving the basement water problem once and for all. If you have that pit in your stomach that forms. You see the forecast or you hear, we haven't had a whole lot of rain this year, but then once it happens, once it hits, you're just running to the basement, trying to make sure that everything is going to be okay that you have down there. How much of your basement are you not even using because water gets into it? Or have you noticed an effect on the actual foundational walls that exist in your basement because maybe water is making its way, as it is apt to do, through the foundation of your walls that is deteriorating? And how much is it deteriorating? You don't even know. Matt Hayes can tell you. He can know, but he's got to see it first. So schedule him to come out and assess your situation. 314-227-9636. 314-227-9636. Reach out to Matt Hayes directly and have him come see what you got going on. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We are covering and watching coverage right now as there have been some National Guard's troops shot in Washington, D.C., within a mile of the White House. There is a suspect in custody, according to reports right now. Let's dip in real quick, Brad, and just listen to the latest reporting. This is developing right now as we speak from Washington, D.C.
Something completely different, and now we are caught in the middle of this breaking news, praying for 2 National Guard members, and we don't know how badly they've been injured. They've been shot here in D.C., just about a mile away from the White House. It's an incredible moment, an incredible scene, because this is supposed to be one of the safest places in the district. There are supposed to be so many officers all across this area. This is just a little bit north of Lafayette Square. I know you've been there quite a few times. Just give me your first thoughts as we watch this scene unfold. Again, we don't know what the motive is here. We don't know what this guy was up to, whether he was targeting these troops or maybe they just got caught up in something.
Well, Aisha, first of all, it breaks our hearts because we're running up to Thanksgiving. We know these men and women, they're willing to protect 100% of our freedom by sacrificing their own life. But you never want to see this happen on our own streets right here and our nation, much less in the nation's capital, literally within eyeshot of the White House. Some of the pictures that are circulating online, I haven't been able to verify if they're true or not. But they're very disturbing. They look like they're pretty serious injuries. I agree with Chris. It's too hard to know right now if they were actually targeted or not. They may have been intervening. I know that anyone walking around in the uniform and they would see someone in distress, they would be running towards the threat because that's what our men and women do in uniform. They run towards the threat. And right now, I believe that Secretary Kristi Noem said it best. We need to be praying for them. We also need to be praying for their families as well.
So Senator Mark Wayne Mullen of Oklahoma right now, he is on the Senate Armed Services Committee as well, commenting on these National Guard troops who have been shot in D.C. We don't have. I am very adamant about not reporting speculation in situations like this. I would rather be right than first on any of the details here. So we as a team will continue to monitor the situation and give you details. No motive, suspect in custody. We haven't been told whether it's the only suspect, if there's still an active situation. We don't know the condition of the guardsmen who were shot. So a lot of details linger. This is devastating. I'm going to say this, though. I know we're covering it through Fox News right now. Jennifer Griffin's comments when she commented at the top of this hour when we went to it, where she was asked by Aisha Hasni regarding the commitment, the work that it takes to become a National Guardsman, like the service that these people provide. Jennifer Griffin's response was that the Guardsmen were there because Trump put them there and that this is a really expensive operation. What the actual hell is she talking about in this moment right now where there are National Guardsmen who are in serious condition? We don't know the extent. We don't know that they're alive. We don't know. And her response is a political criticism of Donald Trump, saying that these guardsmen, that many of them might not even be from the D.C. area, are stationed there, and gave the dates with which Donald Trump put them there. Said, back in August, and then there was an extension of it. And then she goes on to say that it's been a very costly operation. I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this or not, but I can't not say it. What is she talking about? Why is she there? Why was she called upon in this moment? Did she totally, as my son would say, airball on the response? Or, she said that, and my mind was blown. What are you talking about?
She kept going. She said also that she went into criticism of the way National Guardsmen are trained, that these situations really aren't even right for them. It was not, the question wasn't even about any of that.
If you would have heard exactly that coverage on MSNBC, on CNN, on The View, on wherever, you would be like, of course. Exactly. And I specifically would try really hard not to take the bait to be rage baited into can you believe what MSNBC or MS Now, whatever, said? Of course you can believe it. That's what they do. What is Jennifer Griffin doing? Makes no sense to me. Actually, it makes me mad. It's offensive.
Well, this is a moment where, what we do here a lot of times, what a lot of Fox News hosts do, they're opinion hosts, and they're sharing opinions about today's news, facts, opinions, whatever. This is a moment for reporting. There's breaking news. You toss to people who are in the area who can give you context for that breaking news if you don't have any actual news to share. She did none of those things. It
was the entirety.
Embarrassing.
It was the entirety of her comment. It wasn't like she said that and then she got to the facts of the moment or the emotion of the moment or details that we needed to understand the moment. She said, Donald Trump put those guardsmen there, and, a lot of people think this is too expensive. And then they went elsewhere. Maybe that's why they went elsewhere.
That's the answer she was going to give no matter what the question was. She had already decided. It didn't matter. What's my angle on this? Well, Donald Trump is messed up. And by the way, it's proving the opposite point you're making. That if there's crime, isn't the point that you need more National Guardsmen? There's just a crime that just happened. And she's criticizing the fact that they're there.
Super frustrating. Let's take a break. We'll come back and continue to update you. We'll probably get to some Thanksgiving conversation too as well, which is what we were going to do. But news happens, and we are here to bring it to you. We appreciate you listening to 97.1 FM Talk. A reminder, Guns N' Hoses tonight. You can still get tickets, 97.1 FM Talk. So proud to sponsor, or to be a partner, I should say, with this amazing event. We love our law enforcement, we love our firefighters, and we love Guns N' Hoses. And if you thought, I don't know if we'll be able to commit to that, and you didn't get tickets, you can run and get some right now, but grab them before they're gone. You're not going to regret attending tonight, Guns N' Hoses. We'll be right back with more information on the shooting in Washington, D.C. of some National Guardsmen, suspect in custody. More details next.
PointPestControl.com. Point with an E. Call 636-798-0023 and throw my name out there when you ring them, because you're going to get a 10% discount on the top of any specials that Point Pest Control has going at that moment. And you know me, I want them spiders dead. That's why I hired Point Pest Control. But they do a lot more than spiders. But I mean, if you have one spider, you need to make one phone call, and that's to Point Pest Control. There are other issues that you're facing right now, potentially ants. You've tried to do the go down to the big box store to get the ant solution thing. It kills them for 2 days, and then they're back, and then it's the bane of your existence. Point Pest Control will get rid of them once and for all. I myself am a Premier Service Plan subscriber. I have quarterly service done to my house. The treatment is safe for my kids. It's safe for my pets. It is not safe for the pests, which is why I hired them, and you should as well. 636-798-0023. Ants, spiders, crickets, mice, rodents, whatever it might be, get rid of them with Point Pest Control. Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
Tony LaRussa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet, first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Your one blood donation can help save the lives of others. That's why the American Red Cross needs you. This holiday season, give something that means something. Make a difference in the lives of others by rolling up your sleeve and donating at the Odyssey Blood Drive in partnership with the American Red Cross from December 16th through the 19th at multiple locations. Make an appointment in the Red Cross Blood Donor app or at redcrossblood.org and enter sponsor code Odyssey for a drive near you.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Thanksgiving is all about family, food, and gratitude, not last-minute grocery runs. That's why there's Ruler Foods Delivery. Get your favorite Super Saver deals from fresh produce to Thanksgiving essentials delivered to your door in as little as 30 minutes. Spend more time around the table and less time in the store. Visit rulerfoods.com. Click delivery and start your order today. Shop smart, spend less, save more with Ruler Foods Delivery. Online at rulerfoods.com.
The YouTube live chat poll today is about Thanksgiving. Will you be talking politics at Thanksgiving at all of your festivities? A few options here. Most of them are in the variety of yes, and then there's one that's just no. I'm abstaining from that this year. We're going to give you the results of this poll in a little less than a half an hour before Mark Reardon and co. take over at 3 o'clock. Until then, you have time to vote and let us know what your Thanksgiving is going to look like. It is 2:32. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. Bold takes, real talk, no apologies. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. So we are covering the story out of Washington, D.C. that is a live and breaking news story right now. 2 National Guards troops critically wounded outside of within a mile of the White House in Washington, D.C. There are reports, there are photos, there are lots of things swirling around on X. We're going to give you the news as it happens from Fox News when that is determined. So keep it here. If news breaks, I've told you what we know right now. I will also, one suspect is in custody. That is the, I think, last detail that we know for fact. We will bring you the latest as we are exposed to it through reporting. I wanted to ask the YouTube live chat poll question. Trisha, are you participating? Do you want to participate in this? Or do you just want to pretend like you're not here?
I can. I was just enjoying the show.
I could say that at any time, whether Trisha's in here or not. And if she's not in here, I'll just be like, okay, that's fine. Just sit off.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I'm here. Hey.
YouTube poll, will you be talking politics at Thanksgiving festivities this holiday season? Ryan, how do you handle this? Our options are, yeah, and you're the one who's bringing it up. Yeah, you'll engage if it comes up. Yeah, you'll talk about it, but everybody agrees, or no, you're just abstaining.
Not really. It just doesn't come up much. And in fact, I know that Eric Burlison was saying, do stand your ground if somebody wants to fight you on politics for whatever reason. I don't necessarily disagree with that. But one way to fight your ground that I've discovered is if you're in an environment, and not everyone is like this, but a lot of them that I've been in with multiple different sides of the family and this and that, they're just apolitical. And if you know that there's different sides of the aisle there, everybody just kind of backs away from it and doesn't say anything. Unless there's that one person who decides, well, I'm just going to be bold and bring it up anyway. And then the way, especially if you disagree with that person, to stand your ground against them is to almost isolate them and embarrass them for bringing it up in light of everybody else kind of having this truce.
What about you, Brad?
I'll talk about it if it comes up, but I'm not going to be the one that brings it up.
Are you gonna, if it comes up in your circle, are there differing opinions?
I haven't really come across differing opinions too much. I mean, I'm sure that there will be, but I don't know that at the group that's going to be at my parents' house tomorrow, I don't know that there's going to be a lot of difference of
Did you guys get rid of all the libs?
No, but I mean,
they owned them.
Like, we've talked about this in the past, how when your family grows, you kind of go to your family starts doing your own thing. Well, my parents have moved into their grandparents' role, and so now it's just kind of like me, my brother, and my sister, and their families. And and everybody else that was like cousins and whatnot, they're doing their own thing with their families. So
they're going and having lib Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
With tofu.
Yeah.
It's Indigenous Peoples Awareness Day. They don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Trisha, didn't they? Weren't they part of the first Thanksgiving?
Yeah, they were.
Like that
was not the whole thing.
Like it.
Yeah.
It is
everybody was together.
Really coming together.
It was like the one time we got together.
And then we moved on.
Yeah.
Trisha, I know how you get real ragey at these family events about politics.
You know me. No,
That's why we had you in here.
I'm an abstainer. I'm a peacekeeper. I'm pretty conflict avoidant. So
Will it come up?
every once in a while, somebody has one too many glasses of something and just starts poking to poke. It's actually usually the right. It's usually the side I agree with.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
At my house, it's usually the side where I'm like,
97.1, Trisha.
They're not wrong, but they start poking, and you see the eyes start getting big, and people start sweating. But I'm a diffuser.
You know what the easiest way to poke for me is when I'm not to say always.
I have some ideas.
At Thanksgiving, but in situations where I don't know the politics of the person, but it's just kind of out there, and you're gonna just throw a line in the water just to see. Is you just go, Illinois, am I right? And you just see. And then a lot of times they'll go, oh, gosh, yes. And you go, all right, well,
Trisha, you said that the instigators are on the Trump side or the right
Usually,
side? Are they
yeah.
are they on the Republican conservative side or are they on the Trump side?
Usually the Trump side, but it was in our group, it was just conservative, and then now it's Trump. But it's usually just because they start getting a little bit ornery and just to rile up the group on
That's
purpose.
how you know they feel like they're winning.
Yes.
You don't do that when you feel like you're losing.
Right. Yeah, but I do not partake in that.
I'm never going to bring it up. Ever. I never bring it up. Now, I've talked a lot about how pretty much anywhere I go at any given time, someone's like, so what do you think about? There's most of the time, 75% of the time, people come up and they don't even look at me square in the face. They come shoulder to shoulder at an event, and we're shoulder to shoulder, and they kind of lean over and they'll ask me about, so what do you think about da-da-da? Which I think that most of the time I've talked about it. So I think they know what I think about it, but they want to talk about it and they feel comfortable talking to me about it. And I appreciate that. But I usually end up fighting with Trump people more.
Yeah. The Trump people will bring something up and want to get you engaged in it.
It's funny because I pretty much agree with everything that they're advocating for. I just don't like the tone.
That's exactly. That's exactly where it comes down. Yeah,
you don't need a strut. Your turkey strut coming up to me with your red hat. I'm like, I'm on your side.
Be cool, bro. Just be cool. We got
Plus,
this.
I'm a big scoreboard person. He's the president. This Thanksgiving, you will enjoy or not enjoy your family time, while the president is Donald J. Trump. It's good enough for me. I don't need anybody to like it. I don't need anyone to remember it. It's just I think that the country is going in the direction that we need it to go in. But there's a twinkle in the eye of the I don't know if I unstarred Russell's comment. No, I didn't. Good. I read this earlier, but Russell, we're talking about you, man. You threw it up here. The question being, will you be talking politics at Thanksgiving festivities? He says, absolutely not. But my dinnerware has Trump's picture, Trump napkins, shot glasses, Trump silverware. I also will be wearing my Trump sweatshirt, but I will not bring politics up. Not the time. And Russell
Good for you.
walks around the family festivities with the biggest crap-eating grin on his face, and he's like, what? Hi, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
To an
Here I
extent,
am.
I'd have to respect somebody showing up really anywhere in a, Harris Walls hat
I was
right
just
now.
gonna say in a Kamala t-shirt, like her face on a t-shirt.
Yeah, because you're owning the loss and okay with it at this point, apparently.
I don't know if
Do you
that's how I would classify it.
Do you say something if somebody shows up in a Harris Walls hat?
Yeah.
Are you
go,
like,
wow, did you get that discounted?
whoa?
Yeah, you got to say something. Hopefully, they're doing it because it's good humored at this point.
If I saw that, I'd be like, sweet hat.
Uh-huh.
And that would be it.
Yeah,
I
because
mean, you're wearing it to be commented on. If you wear
Right.
something like that, same thing with you Trump people, of which I am. I just am not in the apparel sense 10 and a half months into his second term. Like, at this point, it's...
you're wearing a Rubio 28 shirt.
Now that is a great way to start crap with the Trump people.
That is a good way.
You just don't need to put it out there. I'm thinking of Thanksgiving last year after Donald Trump wins. He's not yet the president yet. And I mean, the high that people were flying on, like, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be great. So you show up to Thanksgiving last year and all the people who are Trump supporters all sit around and they're all just like looking like,
what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? High fives? High fives.
just a really big smile on your face and a, man, this pumpkin pie tastes better this year. And you just kind of go about your business. And, honestly, I think the really sad, this is true statement, not being joking. The sad thing is that the people who are on the left, they are the ones, poll after poll, scientific study after scientific study, they won't put themselves around people who support the president or who are conservative. They feel like it's unhealthy to be around them. And I'm just wondering, how is it that you can, Rosie O'Donnell is, I don't know why Fox News keeps covering Rosie O'Donnell. It's like the third or fourth block of every newscast. I mean, Jesse Waters does it. Maybe he's just doing it to be funny. But Rosie O'Donnell keeps shooting videos of herself talking about how her therapist keeps telling her to stop talking about Donald Trump. I'm like, this is a loop. This doesn't end. And Fox News won't stop covering it, which is probably why she's still shooting the videos, which is probably why she's still going to therapy, and the therapist is telling her you need to stop, so she shoots a video about needing to stop. I'm like, I don't think that this is a solution to your problem.
The therapist is okay with it. The therapist is getting paid.
As long as the check's cash, for sure. But how does somebody who know that people publicly know, or for whatever particular reason know that you've supported Donald Trump, if you've got a Rosie O'Donnell in your family, and a lot of people do, not as publicly prominent as Rosie is certainly, but a lot of us do. We have people who you are living in alternate realities. You see the world so incredibly different that what could you possibly relate to one another in? Like, what does the conversation look like? You almost, in those instances, you almost have to over communicate your love for that person because they're your family member or your friend, and you almost have to speak about it. The Trump thing, you almost have to say, like, I just want you to know that I love you, and I know that this is probably very hard for you, but I do care about you, and I do want you to be happy, so that you can get past it. Otherwise, everything is just like, what did you mean by that? Like, this pumpkin pie tastes great. Why do you think it tastes great? Do you think pumpkin pie needs to be made great again? Like, it just doesn't end. And so everybody feels like you're just in this
This drink needs some ice.
Yeah. Does this iced tea feel a little warm to you? Get some more ice in here? Yeah. Over and over and over again. And then everybody's looking, side-eyeing each other, and you just can't. Everybody hypes up the family controversy that takes place at the holidays like this. And it's almost like if you talked about it more, would it maybe be less? But you prioritize the things you talk. You're not going to go into this meal changing people's minds.
Well, in a roundabout way, that's what I was saying about the Harris Walls hat. That person that shows up who's maybe a Democrat, there's not really problems there because the people wearing those hats do it comedically. The person who's got TDS, they're not wearing Harris Walls stuff anymore. That's not who they are. Their only concern is Donald Trump. Harris Walls was a means to get at Donald Trump. Whatever the current means to get at Donald Trump is, that's their current thing. And they've abandoned that. And so you're right. You almost do have to show them overly, especially if they know that you're conservative. Look, I like you as a person. I am going to put aside my politics. I hope that you can also do that. I can do that. I hope you can.
So none of us are bringing it up.
No.
What if somebody says something outrageously, factually incorrect? Are you correcting them?
That's the best way to do that is if the environment is not talking about politics and they just bring it up out of nowhere, you can just let it hang and say nothing.
No, because you've got that family member who cannot let it hang.
Well, if that's the case, then it goes that way. But if everybody's got this collective agreement and one person's breaking it, you can just let silence shame them into we're not talking about
family
politics.
meeting beforehand. It's like, okay, when Johnny starts talking about such and such, we're all just going to sit here and be quiet and stare at him.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how you do it.
My move when somebody, especially when it's somebody who I know is going to go down this route, they can't help themselves. And you're on both sides of the aisle, to Trisha's point. There are people on the left and the right equally who cannot help themselves. When they say something ridiculous, I just sit there and I go, and then that's it. It's just okay.
Yeah, I do the whole, I don't know, and then I leave the room or change the subject.
Create a diversion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Throw
Throw a pie in somebody else's
on
face.
fire.
Yeah,
It's on fire, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, let's take a quick break. You go vote in the YouTube live chat poll and tell us what you think about talking politics at Thanksgiving festivities. Are you going to be doing it? Got 4 options on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Go vote. You can text us, too. Ryan will read some of those results or those reactions if you so choose on our text line at 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. What do you think about talking politics at the Thanksgiving dinner table? We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. Don't blame it on the good times. Blame it on the boogie.
Get ready for the 38th annual Guns N' Hoses. It's St. Louis's biggest charity boxing event supporting the Backstoppers. Hear it right here the night before Thanksgiving. Coverage starts at 6:30. Guns N' Hoses live on 97.1 FM Talk. Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Cooling, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Michael's Flooring Outlet. You find them online at igotfloored.com. When you shop for flooring at Michael's Flooring Outlet, you're going to see a ton of wonderful, high-quality brand names, including that Smart Strand Mohawk Silk line of carpet. They have silky softness finishes. It's so just like heartwarming. When you go into your new home, when you walk back in and you remember you hit that smell of fresh new carpet in your house and you take your shoes off, you take your socks off, and you get to stretch out on that beautiful new carpet. Maybe play with the kids, the grandkids, the dogs, whatever it is. You are looking for a quality carpet to put in your house that's going to live up to the life you're going to live on it. Michael's Flooring Outlet has a ton of options for you. Quality options at great value. 3 times more individual fibers than ordinary nylon carpet. If you're interested in the Smart Strand Mohawk Silk line, check them out online. Michael's Flooring Outlet, 3 locations across St. Louis, but online right now at igotfloored.com.
When someone hears the words, "You have cancer," it's one of the darkest moments in their life. Light the Night brings light to the darkness of cancer by uniting survivors, patients, and supporters in the cause to end cancer. Friends, families, and coworkers form a community of hope, raising funds in support of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Together, we walk with lanterns held high to light the path to cures. Last year alone, the FDA approved 18 new drug therapies and treatments to treat blood cancers. The impact of LLS-supported research goes beyond blood cancer. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. When we walk, cancer runs. Join the movement to end cancer today. Visit us at lightthenight.org.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
It's time for you to get to know my friends at Lit Cigar Lounge in Chesterfield, where luxury meets comfort. Mark Cox here. They have a great selection of rare bourbons, whiskeys, craft cocktails, anything you like to drink, cold beer, premium hand-rolled cigars from the finest makers in the world, even private lockers that are available if you choose to. Perfect for date nights or business meetings, and live music every Friday night. Family owned and operated. Check them out in Chesterfield at the District. It's litstl.com.
Live, local, and conservative. It's the Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk.
We've come to the time in the season when family and friends gather near to offer a prayer of thanksgiving for blessings we've known through the years, to join hands and thank the Creator now when Thanksgiving is due. And this year when I count my blessings, I'm thanking the Lord He made you. This year when I count my blessings, I'm thanking the Lord He made you. I'm grateful for the laughter of children, the sun and the wind and the rain, the color of blue in your sweet eyes, the sight of a highball and train, the moon rise over a prairie, and oh love that you've made new. And this year when I count my blessings, I'm thanking the Lord He made you. And this year when I count my blessings, I'm thanking the Lord He made you.
Well, we are watching coverage right now of the situation that has developed in Washington, D.C. There are 2 National Guard troops that were shot within a mile of the White House. And I want to just go to the live coverage from Fox News. They're reporting now that at least one of those individuals has been killed.
Of the National Guard. And that was not only beside the point of what we were supposed to be talking about, but again, it's a mischaracterization. An accurate characterization is that they are out there, as I said earlier, for their omnipresence, to be eyes and ears, but to be a deterrent. Unfortunately, by definition there, it makes them targets. And as the political rhetoric has heated up incessantly and has been, in my mind, really irresponsible. There have been a number of us on the air who have been saying this could end badly. Generally, it was in the context of Chicago, but you know, it's one of these things where doesn't it feel like it had an air of inevitability that we were hurtling towards something like this? Now let's see where it goes. We don't know that much about the perp yet, but let's see what the investigation turns up.
Paul, we have a very unfortunate update now from the governor of West Virginia just in the last couple of moments here. He is confirming that both of the National Guard members that were shot today have passed away, have succumbed to their injuries. And I'm going to read this updated post now from the West Virginia governor here. It is with great sorrow that we can confirm both members of the West Virginia National Guard who were shot earlier today in Washington, D.C. have passed away from their injuries. These brave West Virginians lost their lives in the service of their country. We are in ongoing contact with federal officials as the investigation continues. Our entire state grieves with their families, their loved ones, and the Guard community. West Virginia will never forget their service or their sacrifice, and we will demand full accountability for this horrific act. We have 2 families in West Virginia that will not see their children come home ever again because they've been shot by a murderer in the middle of the nation's capital, only a few blocks away from the White House, a city that is supposed to be the safest city in America. And we have now all witnessed together 2 National Guard troops, 2 young men or women, we don't know yet, have now lost their lives in the line of duty. Paul.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, look, what can you say? I mean, it's just utterly awful. And here we are on the eve of Thanksgiving. Two families for whom the holidays will never be the same. God bless them both. Look, we'll learn plenty about them now. They are
Paul Morrow
heroes.
reporting right
They
now
were
for
out
Fox
there even
News,
before
along
this.
with Aisha Hasni, on the development that those two National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. have been killed. What a horrible development on a Thanksgiving Eve afternoon. It's just tragic. And it's just tragic. It's not the way you want to hear that story end. They do have a suspect in custody. Certainly more details will develop, of course, over the course of the next hours. Keep it right here on 97.1 FM Talk so that you can have the latest. You know, when we ask this question, will you talk about politics at Thanksgiving festivities? Remember the things that are important. This family certainly will have to. Abstaining, 45% of you are abstaining. 35% of you say yes if it comes up. Happy Thanksgiving, folks.
Offer a prayer of thanksgiving.
It's time now for today's Spotlight on Money.
Here's an item that rarely makes your holiday budget, but it could make a big difference in your overall spending. Have you factored in tips for the people who clean your house, maintain your lawn, and cut your hair? Business writer Jennifer Waters.
It can be very expensive, and that's why you really need to be careful about that. So sometimes you can even just give a handwritten note.
She says a good rule of thumb for a holiday tip is an amount similar to one visit's pay. I'm Rob Hart.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer, an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your online traffic. So this Black Friday, get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal with 73% off and enjoy 3 extra months.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
There's a